upset, and I was like, it's okay. I was like, no, my new book.
Yep.
Poor thing.
Meaning the poor book.
The poor book, yes. Oh, man. I'm saving this for a little...
Oh, yes, of course.
Cheers to Dumbledore.
Here we go.
Oh, boy.
All right, I think audio is working. Everyone, audio is working on your guys' part?
Testing.
Hello.
1, 2.
Severe lack of audio.
Still?
No, I think we're good now. But I think it's just taking a little bit of a second to catch up. I think. Audio is good, working so far. Perfect. Excellent. So far, yeah, it's the big thing. Well.
Oh, those pretzels are going to be dangerous. I want more.
That box, that
They're
bag is
just far
going to
away.
be gone.
Yeah.
Did it actually go through?
No, I'll apologize
Me?
now.
Yeah, it's good.
I'll buy you a new bag soon.
It just looks like that. It's hard to read.
Yeah, people know.
Our cake topper came in the mail.
Oh, fun.
I think it looks good. Not everyone agrees.
You punch it out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That was like the one at your shower. It said the bride.
Oh yeah, and Lauren had a yeah, that's right. And Lauren had one made for them. But at first I'm like, can you read it? Like
Yeah, the Rollins.
it just yeah, I know. I'm dissecting it.
Oh,
What's up, Wes?
I like it.
Sorry, everyone. I'm trying to figure out one more thing, and then we'll be good. Ew, Wes, that
Once
was gross.
it's punched out, it'll look different and cuter. Oh my gosh, I found the cutest little thing. I'm gonna do my nails for the bachelorette weekend.
Oh, let me see.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, how cute is that? Oh, I love that.
It's so simple and so cute.
I love that.
I'm not sure if it'll be the exact colors, but I don't even know if she could do it. You want to see it?
What, your girl?
What, is it going to be lime green? What did you do for the bachelorette party last time?
Because Lawrence was Cinco de Mayo, so I had to do it.
Right.
It was bright yellow, and you could have asked me when I had red nails, so it would have been fine.
Yeah. And then you legit were like, I'm going to go get my nails done. I'm like, oh, I better wait to get
Yeah, but
proposed.
you know what's crazy
That
is
looks
that
great.
I said this out loud. I was like, oh, it'll be so, like, I was talking to Nicole, my coworker, and I was like, it'll be J Hearts D. And they're like, and they took that to a whole level. And then I was like, all right, I guess I'll be D Hearts J.
There you go.
I'm still a
Are
little
you
lost.
missing it?
I mean, I get the dirty part, but where is this though?
This, I just showed you.
On
the
your
nail.
nails.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Now I'm
I
tracking.
just showed it to you.
I didn't read it, to be honest. I just saw the part where it was on a
Gotta
nail.
appreciate the honesty.
It looked like cursive, and you had already said
It was
it
the
might
two
not
letters.
work. It was 2 letters. Okay, nice.
You're funny. Oh, then why? I guess it's good. I could show you something you wouldn't even know.
Well, I thought I was trying
Here,
to
you
absorb
can
the
see.
He's
general
looking at it.
idea of it, you know?
Not seeing it.
Like the color, for example. Nice color.
What? I know there's a butt.
No, it is a nice color.
There's
I
always
like
a
it.
butt.
There's
Jen,
always,
there's always
a butt,
Jen.
especially at this podcast.
The butt.
And depending on what size, it makes a sound when you
my gosh,
aspirate.
A big old kerplunk.
That was such a good discussion.
Mine
Oh
would
my
be a
gosh.
bubble. Big bubble.
I wish we could do sound effects. Wait, you're good at sound effects.
Wait, what kind of sound
Like,
effects do we need?
we
And weren't
want-
you the ones talking about you wanted to do the ones with sound effects in movies?
Yeah.
This is your practice. Bloop. That was it?
That's it.
I'm not
That's a
good
sad
at
butt.
it. I can.
Yeah, that sounded saggy. I'm not going to lie.
No, what I meant is like I wouldn't make it with my voice. I
You would use objects.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not
Gotcha.
good like that.
Okay.
I have friends that are really good. I'm like, how do you do that?
What, like sound effects?
Yeah.
My brother can do that. My brother and his best friend, his childhood best friend, they make the
Just sound
funniest
effects
sound
boys.
effects.
You
Yeah.
could do that, right? Is that like a guy thing though?
I don't know. Like, I don't
Can you
think
do it?
so, but I
Sound
probably
effects?
do when I'm driving or
Sound
randomly.
No. I don't think it's a guy thing. I think it's just like some people can just do sound effects for some reason.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anywho, how loud is Dumbledore's apparate noise? How
He
big is
could
his
probably
butt?
do it nearly silently if he wanted to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel
if
like
you're
he's pretty
clenching,
flat.
maybe, or like,
I feel like he's gonna be flat.
Yeah, but he just has like the cloak and the beard and long hair, so I just feel like it
that
absorbs
softens it.
It's like
Oh my!
Flabby. What was that?
Wow. So it
Hand
sounds
effect?
to me like the amount of apparition noise
it would
is
just be like-
equivalent to how loud someone would fart.
what did he say?
I said the noise from apparition is probably about the same as the how loud their fart is.
Yeah, it's so,
So
true.
if
would
someone
totally
can
be-
strategically do it, you got your muscles, you're trying to control
That
your
would definitely be
diaphragm or whatever
Dumbledore's
else.
heart. Like totally controlled, barely there.
Because
a
when you
little-
said I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's Dumbledore. That's what he does.
Oh my goodness.
That's perfect.
Yup.
Okay, we are gonna do 2-ish, maybe 3 chapters, depending on how we get through. We're just gonna kind of take it as we go.
Excellent.
So, because there's a lot packed into 26 and 27, we might not get to 28, but we're gonna see. And 28 is a short chapter, so we'll just kind of book through it.
All right.
Book through it.
But
That's you right.
That's
Trouble.
from them?
yeah,
Wow.
I think so. I don't know.
Probably.
Pretzels giving you gas.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, let me try to. What's a good intro? Should we just do an ode to Dumbledore as an intro?
Yeah. Wait, what chapters was it?
Yeah, and we can vent about how annoying Snape is too. It needs to be both. I want a Crucio Snape so bad. You know what? Maybe I went through the stages of grief, and this week I was just
maybe
like,
we were in the bathroom when we were talking about that. Too.
oh yeah, because
Yeah.
I feel like the classic denial, as we discussed, point. I feel like was his plan always to betray Dumbledore. I kind of refused to believe it, but then I was like, maybe that doesn't even matter anyway. But whatever brought him that final step to the dark side, it just made me so mad because it was so it felt calculated at the end, and I was like, what's the deal? It just didn't make sense, so I was annoyed at him. And then I was kind of impressed that Harry could keep up with him and stuff, and he wasn't even attacking Harry, so I just felt like he didn't even want to kidnap Harry because he could have. So I feel like for some reason Voldemort needs Harry at Hogwarts for a later death or something.
He
Anyways,
said
my
that
mind is
it's
going crazy with all the
Voldemort's, though.
possibilities.
No
Yeah,
one,
exactly.
No one's allowed to touch Harry.
But why does he have to be at Hogwarts though? Because I thought he could have done that thing where he stuns somebody and then just brings Harry with him, and then he could have gotten away with Harry.
I didn't catch the whole has to be at Hogwarts thing.
No, I'm just assuming. Just because why else would he leave Harry there? I feel like Harry is needed at Hogwarts for Voldemort's plan.
I
but
don't
know
think
why.
they're ready for Harry yet, so I feel like that's why.
Oh,
he's
maybe
just
he doesn't
leaving
have
it.
his
Yeah.
7th piece of his Horcrux
So
yet.
that's why.
So, I live in my own world. I just started singing, I don't think you're ready for this, Harry. Keep going. Ignore me.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Can I come? I want to be in your world.
Do you though?
It sounds fun.
Jump in.
So you, do you think? So Danny, you don't.
Well, I don't really know, but I think if it was part of the plan, I feel like the plan must have changed when he thought Voldemort was maybe dead. Then he thought it's time to pivot. Then he becomes Dumbledore's friend or whatever happened during that. Then Voldemort comes back and Snape was still hedging his bets. And then at some point between Voldemort's return and now, he was convinced that Voldemort is going to win this and decided to go bad. But I don't know what convinced him, why all of a sudden he thought, yep, Voldemort's going to go bad. And it even down to the this very night, I thought, did he not realize what was going to happen until this night? And then when the Death Eaters got in, and Malfoy was able to orchestrate all of this, he thought, yeah, Dumbledore's no good. He's too weak. He can't win this thing. I'm going to be on the side that's going to win. And then like went to the dark side. Did it happen right then? Or was he helping Malfoy this whole time in subtle ways we don't realize? Or did he already go dark in the summer, and then when he did his unbreakable vow, he had already committed to going bad? I feel like something must have happened more recently. I'm going to say in the last book or two, but I just don't know what. Like, what changed his mind to make him go bad? But yeah, pretty ridiculous. I mean, obviously we didn't like him for a long time, so in some ways it makes sense, but
I was always trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
yeah, yep. And I think this must confirm to me like that he's pretty good at occlumency, because Dumbledore trusted him to the very end. I think, unless Dumbledore kind of knew he was going bad and sensed it, and like, I don't know, was somewhat prepared for it, but maybe he didn't realize he was going to do his evil stuff yet. Maybe Dumbledore thought he could keep faking it for a little longer. Like, oh yeah, Snape's still trying to pretend to be good, so let's like leverage that as long as we can. Because Snape keeps like doing all these good things for Dumbledore, and that works as long as Snape is still trying to prove he's good. But as soon as Snape, like, I'm still assuming Dumbledore is like better than Snape, but Snape just caught him at a really weak moment, because he was like already totally weakened by everything with the Horcrux. Or, well, not even the real Horcrux, the fake one. So, yeah.
So do you think that Dumbledore in this moment, or do you think that when Snape was about to kill Dumbledore, he kind of like looked into his eyes? What was that look that he gave that was like absolute, like he looked like, the description right before he killed him was, he looked like he abhorred this man. Like he hated him. Let me actually find it so I can read it, because it was an interesting description.
But he never had it like before.
Yeah.
That was never described. Whatever. I forget the wording of it.
It was,
I guess he just brought, like, the wall came down. He's like, okay, my people are here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And maybe he saw such weakness in Dumbledore that he realized that this isn't a battle that they're going to win.
The only thing is that he was helping heal him with certain things.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Well, then that's why I kind of projected it like Snape almost wanted Dumbledore to win, but he's so focused on self-preservation that he needs to go to the winning side. So I interpreted that look as almost bitterness.
But
like, you should have been better, Dumbledore. Why did you fail? Why did you do this?
I'm thinking, did Lord Voldemort, like, could control Snape, can't he? He's stronger.
You think so?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be that surprised, but I would be a little surprised. I can't
remember.
It was like deep hatred.
Yeah, this is the description.
Loathing.
Snape gazed for a moment at Dumbledore.
Oh, that's.
And there was a revulsion and hatred etched into the harsh lines of his face. Severus, please. Snape raised his wand and pointed it directly at Dumbledore. Avada Kedavra. So
but for it to work, he has to like really believe that too.
Exactly, yeah. He can't do this curse if he doesn't actually really want to kill him.
But maybe that's why he had to muster up this like
Oh yeah,
feeling.
like maybe that's the same look you always get when you're doing a successful Avada Kedavra curse.
But that's what I was gonna say, because you said self-preservation. Snape is just like blah. Like that's why I was like, he wants to be on the winning side. He doesn't seem like he cares.
Yeah.
It's just like he's just there.
Don't you think he kind of showed his true allegiance at the end of this one?
Like when he kills Dumbledore.
He kills Dumbledore, and then when he's
but
escaping.
I guess what I'm saying is but leading up to this, I never would have thought he cared about what side you're on. I didn't think he.
I still didn't think he cared that much, and that's why I thought he was still playing the fence a little bit. And then this was just a moment of like, well, all right, so be it, Dumbledore. You failed. You let Death Eaters into your school. You're not strong enough. You're weak. Nope, you are not the winning side. I'm out of here. And then he made his decision to not win. And then again, I'm still viewing Dumbledore as being smart enough, or assuming he kind of knew that Snape's allegiance was in question. And then I'm thinking his last hope in this moment was to leave Snape with a seed of doubt. of guilt, of something, so that Snape will be haunted by this moment.
When he was saying please.
Yeah. Because he's like, look, I know I'm going to die. I don't have my wand. I don't, whatever. I'm okay. That's fine. Whatever Snape decides is fine. But if he kills me right now, and maybe Dumbledore already knew, maybe this was prophesied already. But if Dumbledore knew, I feel like he must have known that this moment would be a big thing for Snape and could at least do something. Like
almost
maybe
like Pettigrew's hand thing, where there's magic in the hand and it's like it's going to come back and bite him in the butt or something like that. It's the same thing with the please. Maybe Dumbledore put magic in that please.
Literally, it could have been, and there could have been some silent spells or curses or anything else that like maybe isn't enough to defend him or whatever, but to haunt Snape from now on. Or maybe it was even like there's going to be a ghost of Dumbledore that's on Snape's shoulder from now on. Or like something that like I felt like Dumbledore did his final move, even if it was just in Snape's mind.
Yeah.
I feel like that planted at least a memory that will haunt him, if not literally, at least like figuratively.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that would play out in any good way, but just the idea of it's maybe just a coping mechanism of I don't want to assume that Dumbledore like just lost outright.
Yeah.
So that's my way of being like, no, he must have had some plan in this, and maybe he didn't, but I like to think that he did. That will haunt Snape in some kind of crazy way.
We'll talk about this more as we go on, but one thing I want to do before we start to is raise our glasses. Share what very quickly. What do you have? What your favorite Dumbledore moment? That's a hard question. So I'll probably cut this in the podcast so it's a little shorter.
Oh, when he sits down with Harry on the floor. What was that? I remember
the illustrated
picture. Yeah, the illustration.
That's probably my favorite moment too because of the illustration at the Mirror of Erised when he's sitting cross-legged with Harry on the floor. Oh, I love that so much.
When he explains his the parents thing, right? That's the whole scene.
Yeah.
That's a great
fantastic.
Well, it's because it's visual for me.
I know.
Yeah.
There's so many. This is like one of those episodes of a sitcom that like they go back in all the reruns and all the flashbacks of one character that died or something. I'm remembering when the mugs are tapping the Dursleys in the head.
That was so good.
That was such a good moment. There's so many good moments.
I just keep thinking to all of his moments making announcements to all of Hogwarts, like up on, I don't even know, the stage, like the head table, where he was saying his whimsical words at the beginning of book 1 and talking about music. And he just seems so zany and free. And then you shouldn't have come here tonight, Tom.
Yeah.
He said that. Ooh,
was that a fun moment with him with Fred and George?
Yeah, I was
the
thinking
Goblet
about
of
that
Fire?
one. Oh, yeah.
I love his like fun playful words like that too.
Yep.
He had a lot of moments with Fred and George that were lovely in this book. The one that I remember too is when they're singing the Hogwarts theme song or something like that, and everyone else he's like, you can sing it at whatever melody and tune you want. Everyone's singing it, and then he's directing, he's conducting only Fred and George at the end because they're singing at a so slow of a pace.
Hoggy Hogwarts.
Yeah. Let's sing it now.
I don't even know.
I mean, you two can sing it.
Yeah. Or what about when he said the jelly beans too? He's like, there's only one encounter I've had earwax or something.
Oh, that's
I'll try it again or something. I don't know. I butchered that, but
that is a great moment
when he like goes down to the kids level.
There's a lot of mystery in Dumbledore too. There's the lines that we get that we still have to look out for. Like Danny's mentioning the please. There was the other line that we have that was the golden look of victory in his eye or whatever like that in Goblet of Fire. So we don't know what that is yet. Do you have any ideas or theories on that? I mean, we'll revisit that actually later because I'll reread that passage because that's an interesting
I think Voldemort had accidentally made a grave mistake because that was related to blood. And when Harry mentioned that, that's when he got that look in his eye. So I think Dumbledore knows some kind of ultimate long-term something, but I don't know what it could be. I don't think it's prophecy related, but I feel like it's something like
but that would
to the connection between them. It would what?
No, it's like it kind of fulfills the prophecy too. Like I forgot how we worded it, but it was like Voldemort is afraid of. He created his own worst enemy because he went after Harry. He could have just not done
Right.
anything, and he would have been powerful. But he followed this prophecy. But then it's interesting because even though your blood theories are interesting, if he did have Harry's blood, I wonder if it like counteracts it, where like it's now your enemy, like your enemy's in you now and can like defeat you more.
Interesting. Well, I just thought like
Creative.
that's a bit of a stretch. I was thinking the prophecy is saying that one can't survive without the other, but like now Harry, even if he died, his blood would still be in someone else. But if Voldemort dies, then he would be dead. So the only way the prophecy,
he has Horcruxes. So
well,
he's
yeah,
not
but
gonna be
the
dead.
prophecy is saying eventually one of them has to die. But if a piece of Harry is in Voldemort, then only Voldemort could die. Harry couldn't. But then again, a piece of Voldemort might be in Harry with the scar, with the whatever. Anyways, I guess.
The scar.
Well, because we're like the connection is a piece of Voldemort, so that would make that theory dumb.
Oh, he just didn't get any answers from Dumbledore. That's.
But
what's
yeah, that's the
annoying,
thing.
too.
Dumbledore did leave a couple little twinkles. We're still waiting for music to play a little bigger role. I say we. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Because music just so rarely comes up, and it's a magic more powerful than anything we've seen here. And I'm
you
like,
have a musical family, so I'm not surprised.
well, but it's the Sorting Hat. It's lulling Fluffy to sleep. It's Snape healing up Malfoy, and those are like the only times music is mentioned, other than the music at Christmas time at the Burrow, and a few times they talk about like concerts with.
So Snape is
the
actually
wizard
the
artists.
most devout.
Most faithful.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, when Voldemort said that, he didn't know Snape was loyal, because Snape was still at
So
Hogwarts.
it was Crouch Jr.
So Snape came later, and then it was reevaluated. But at the time when Voldemort was talking about it, he was saying, "Oh man, I'm like forgetting exactly." But he said
Crouch
most
Jr.
loyal, the one who's left us and gone forever, and the one, the coward.
Yeah.
Those were the three.
Yeah.
And those were different. But then Snape came back, and he adds the fourth element, or he
no,
kind of like
he could
switches
have
up.
been the
He might have
one
been the
that
coward
lost forever.
or lost forever. We don't know. And maybe he genuinely was lost forever, but that was hyperbole. And then he came back. He was found again.
It's just crazy that he could play it so well.
I know.
Like he was healing people. He was in the order giving information.
Mm-hmm.
Was he giving the wrong information, or was he actually playing both sides?
Well, he had to do as much good as he could to play the fence and to convince arguably the greatest wizard currently that he was good. So how do you convince Dumbledore you're good? You have to do so much good that Dumbledore believes you, which means that has to be some intense good. And so the
But
question is,
these-
was he telling
But
Voldemort
these
all
Death
that?
Eaters don't like good. So like, how could they like stick to it for years? How long was it? Like 9? How many years has it been?
But he was telling
It's
the
been a
prophecy to
significant amount
Voldemort.
of- yeah.
He was doing all these like Voldemort things that, and we don't even know the extent of it because again, we
And
have
then
these
Dumbledore
theories.
says, "I trust
Horcruxes
him.
of-
Just believe me, I trust him." I'm like,
Yeah.
but you gave nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what's annoying.
What was his reason for that, and why was he
Yeah.
so wrong?
He could have killed Dumbledore before.
Well, you know
and
what?
didn't.
For sure.
I'm not so sure he is that wrong. Again, thinking Dumbledore
Yeah.
has this grand plan of
And
like maybe Dumbledore
made a
knows that
decision in the
Harry
moment.
can never become who he needs to be if Dumbledore is around.
So he kills himself.
Not kills himself,
He
but
tells Snape
knew that
to.
at some point it might happen, and if it does, it would be good for Harry. Again, we don't know with prophecies. Maybe there was a prophecy like Dumbledore, you're not going to make it to the end, but Harry
what
will live
Trelawney
on
was
without
trying
you.
to
And maybe, right? So I'm just thinking, if Dumbledore already knew he's not going to survive to the great battle between Voldemort and Harry, he might not have been trying that hard to resist it. Or maybe there was a prophecy that says the same kind of thing. Dumbledore, there are two forces of good, you and Harry. Only one of you survives this. You know, like, and Dumbledore might have said, all right, well, if that's the prophecy, I don't need to survive. We'll make sure Harry's the one. So maybe he knew that, like, even though he dies, he wanted to set up as much stuff as he could, bring Harry in as much information as he could, take him on some adventures so he can continue the fight.
Well, we'll keep talking about this in a bit. Just
Gotta
raise your
hope.
glasses to Dumbledore.
To Dumbledore.
Oh,
To Dumbledore.
Dumbledore.
We should have done a eulogy for him or something like that. Everyone writes a different eulogy when we say it on here, but to Dumbledore. And welcome to the podcast. I'm John.
Jen.
Danny.
And Kristen.
This is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers.
Aw, to Dumbly.
To Dumbledore.
Cheers.
I still think maybe one of my favorite moments is too when he gave the eulogy for Cedric.
Oh, that was
That was
so
a beautiful
good. That was
moment.
powerful.
Yeah.
Yep.
I said
Strong?
I forgot how strong this is.
There are two moments that I want to mention to you again, and I mentioned the one when we were doing the live read, but how Dumbledore's death was predicted in the 13 at a table chapter.
Oh,
And
gosh.
This
So
is so
good.
cool, though. I want to read this.
That's one of my favorite little
Danny's
things.
like,
She's
"No."
such a
Ecstatic
good writer.
right now.
She's like, ugh. That's great.
Okay. At lunchtime, they went down to the Great Hall to find the house tables had been moved against the walls, and that a single table, set for 12, stood in the middle of the room. Professor Dumbledore, McGonagall, Snape, Sprout, Flitwick were there, along with Filch, the caretaker, who had his usual brown coat and was wearing a very old, rather moldy-looking tailcoat. And there were 3 other students, 2 extremely looking first years and a sullen-looking Slytherin-faced 5th year. And he said, "Merry Christmas," said Dumbledore, as Harry, Ron, and Hermione approached the table. There's 12. It seems foolish to use the house table. Sit down, sit down. Harry, Ron, and Hermione sat down at the side of the table. "Cracker," said Dumbledore, enthusiastically offering the end of a large silver one to Snape, who took it reluctantly and tugged. With a bang, like a gunshot, a cracker flew apart to reveal a large pointed witch's hat topped with a stuffed vulture. Harry, remembering the boggart, caught Ron's eye and both grinned. Snape's mouth thinned, and he pushed the hat toward Dumbledore, who swapped it for a wizard's hat at once. "Tuck in," he advised the table, beaming around. As Harry was helping himself to roast potatoes, the doors of the Great Hall opened again. It was Professor Trelawney, gliding toward them as though on wheels. She had put on green sequined dress in honor of the occasion, making it look more like ever that she's glittering an oversized dragonfly. "Sybil, this is a pleasant surprise," said Dumbledore, standing up. And before, I didn't mention this. This is where it mentions Peter Pettigrew is at the table. Scabbers is at the table too. So there's.
But wait, when
13.
does it mention Scabbers though?
It mentions that Scabbers is, I think,
In
actually
Ron's
a little
pocket,
later
or like-
on. Yeah.
Okay, so later. It doesn't list Scabbers in the original list, but it clarifies later.
Yeah, yeah. I think Scabbers has something that he does at the meal. I'm forgetting what. I can't find it exactly.
And so when they're all sitting there, it's
So-
13 already.
Yeah, it's 13
Trelawney comes
already.
up and says,
Dumbledore greets and stands up.
and so he is the 13, boom. And then they both sit down, becomes 14 at a table.
Yeah, and it's nothing.
and it's nothing.
Yep.
Hmm.
And then, so that's one of the greatest callbacks. I love that one. And then the
Yikes.
other one is good that on your first read, I don't think you're going to notice that, but when Dumbledore, when they're leaving the cave, you guys remember the last line of that chapter? The cave.
The last line.
No, I don't remember it off the top of my head, but now I'm trying to play it back and see, like, where did the chapter end?
Harry says, "Don't worry, Professor, don't worry." Dumbledore says,
Oh, like
"I'm
that.
not worried, Harry. I'm with you."
Yeah.
There's a callback because Harry was about to go with Dumbledore to. Well, first of all, he gave the Felix Felicis to his friends because he said, "Don't worry, I'm going to be with Dumbledore. I'm going to be safe." But early in the book, I think he says the same thing when he says, "I'm not worried, sir. I'm with you." Dumbledore even says that. "You don't have to worry, Harry. You're going to be with me." And then there's a callback to that where at the very end, Dumbledore goes, "You don't have to worry, Harry." Or he says, "I'm not worried, Harry. I'm with you." So like the roles have been switched. It's just beautiful bits of writing right there. I love that so
Sorry,
much.
and flipped,
Yeah.
and then he can die.
Yep.
Whatever.
But let's get into the cave discussion. So give me a very quick summary of the cave.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't writing summaries, but this
I think I do have a
is...
very quick one.
Oh, you did? Nice.
Harry and Dumbledore retrieve the Horcrux through a series of events.
Perfect.
Through a series of events.
That was great.
In the cave. And then, that's it. But honestly, yeah, this whole chapter was in the cave, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Whole
it
thing.
is called that.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
This starts off. He was standing upon a high outcrop of dark rock, water foaming and churning below him. He glanced over his shoulder. A towering cliff stood behind them, a sheer drop, black and faceless. A few large chunks of rock, such as the one upon which Harry and Dumbledore were standing, looked as though they had broken away from the cliff face at some point in the past. It was bleak, harsh view, The sea and the rock unrelieved by any tree or sweep of grass or sand. What do you think? Asked Dumbledore. He might have been asking Harry's opinion on whether it was a good site for a picnic. What did you think of Harry and Dumbledore's interactions this whole chapter? Was there any level of difference between the two? Between how they normally would...
I think it got a little more different as it went on. It felt like there was more trust. Dumbledore to Harry. Potentially Harry to Dumbledore as well. It felt like in the past, Harry was the passenger. And this time Dumbledore, he was still a passenger, but Dumbledore included him a little more.
Yeah.
And was like, they felt like more of a team.
Like Harry was suggesting things and he's like, oh, let's try it.
And this actually felt real and serious. In the past, it felt like Dumbledore already knew exactly what was going to happen, and Harry was along for the ride. But this felt very different.
Yeah.
We're getting smells in from the window.
Yeah.
I was like,
I just got
what
over
is
that. I thought it was skunk.
Secondhand.
Oh, my neighbors are smoking weed.
Classic.
Also a skunkish smell.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's accurate.
Skunky monkey.
Wow, I feel like I'm right there with them.
You can close the windows if you want. Feel free.
It's a nice breeze.
This will be a fun episode.
No. I'm not a fan.
There's another line. I imagine that Riddle climbed down. Magic would have, or I imagine that Riddle climbed down. Magic would have served better than ropes. And he brought 2 small children with him, probably for the pleasure of terrorizing them. I think the journey alone would have done it, don't you? So Tom Riddle is like climbing down this stuff with magic before he's even at Hogwarts. So he's terrorizing these students before he's even at Hogwarts. How advanced is he in comparison to Dumbledore? Like, again, I do ask this question every once in a while, but like, what's your power ranking of like all-time wizards? Even with Snape in that mix, do you think, we'll ask this question later, but do you think Snape is in that now?
Yeah, for me, he is.
Yeah.
Like you roll your eyes and you say, yeah.
Yeah, like
fine,
we don't
I
want
am.
to give him any
Very
credit.
reluctant, yes.
Well, he's really good at occlumency. I guess
He
I
would
haven't,
have to be, yep.
but I haven't seen anyone, like, we haven't seen anyone use it that much, but maybe just
True.
don't use it because that's like a violation of
Yeah,
privacy?
or he's so good at it that people don't even know he's doing it. It just, Snape would have to be so good at occlumency or legilimency to get this far. And he was so self-controlled to play both sides like this. And Dumbledore at least leads us to believe that being in control of your emotions is a sign of a good wizard. So it makes me put Snape up a little higher. I don't think Voldemort is good with his emotions. Dumbledore seems to be. But maybe Voldemort leaned into that, and that has become a bit of a strength for him. But maybe ultimately a weakness.
Because Dumbledore is doing stuff in this that I don't understand fully. He's sensing magic. He's looking at places, and he's like as a sense of ancient magic, if you will.
Fascinating.
How do you?
What is that?
Do you think this is
about?
an innate ability, or do you think it's like just something he's so gifted that he knows where? Because he said magic leaves traces.
But he didn't even teach Harry that. Like, look
I
for
know.
these sparkles.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah,
That's what I
right.
imagine it to be.
I felt like he was feeling it. Like when you know I can't find a parallel, but when you know something so well, you know the ins and outs of it that you can follow it more than other people. I don't know like what to compare that with. But like I feel like he was just feeling it because he's so
in tune with it.
Yeah. It's almost like the magic is part of him so that he can like sense it.
Yeah, like it almost couldn't be taught or he would have.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking of on the drive here on the highway when you passed me, because Kristen drives past me and I just like tensed up and I like something felt off, and I was like, "What's up here?" Like, and for no reason. And then I look over and there's Kristen staring at me from the next lane.
Let me explain. I pulled up next to him and I like basically stopped to like wave, and I'm waving at him. I saw you tense.
I don't think I registered your car consciously, but some part of me did, and something felt off.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what's going on here? And then I looked over and saw you. So that was like
even
a funny
like
sixth sense. Like subconsciously, I picked up on an abnormality. And that's just driving. Yeah. But Dumbledore is such a good wizard that he's seen so much of the world. He's seen so many things that he's picking up on the subtle abnormalities. I'm even thinking of nature itself. Like if you're in the woods, you can pick up on when a storm is coming. Yeah. Because of how the birds and bugs react. And even just the well, maybe not everyone, but just like but even I'm like sometimes you feel like a cold front come and you're like, oh, something's changing. Yeah. And even though you maybe can't actively say like, oh yeah, it's a cold front, so rain's probably coming because the air is condensing. You just get a sense of change, and you're like, something's different now.
100%.
Again,
so that's what I'm just saying. So Dumbledore, again, he's in tune. He's a man of the world. So he's out there, and he's like, normally I'm getting a certain vibe from these rocks, and now I'm not. And whatever that is, I don't know. And he knows.
But even this
he's
was
like,
a perfect example, though, because we would have no idea. We'd walk into the woods, and I'm like, I'm clueless. I have no idea. But since Dumbledore is so in tune with it, like he can just
we knew they're better at magic than us.
Well,
but I think it's because Dumbledore is so aware. He's so aware of his surroundings, and he's so present in the moment. So I imagine he'd be good at meditating. I imagine he's the kind of guy who would go and sit on this cliff and just look at the ocean for a while. You know, like I imagine that he would spend time in that kind of environment where it would make sense to him. So then when he's out there, he's like, he senses something different because he's so familiar with what the normal is. But I don't know.
But apparently he's not the only one, because R.A.B. did too.
R.A.B. Good old Regulus Black.
R.A.B. We'll have a long discussion on that.
I really hope it's him, because that'd be so cool. But it also could be someone we've never heard of before. But that would be a little bit lame. Like just from a literal perspective.
Little, like,
I'm like, I want it to be someone we've met before, even if it's a nickname. It would be nice if it was someone we already knew, even if it wasn't their real name or R.A.B. was like a joke or like something different. It'd be cool if it was somebody from the past, a throwback, a callback to the first or second book.
You're just hoping it's Regulus Black.
Well, there's something so fitting about that because it's another way that Harry could connect to Sirius.
Yeah, for sure.
But it brings up a lot of questions of like why he hasn't come up until now. Yeah. And has Dumbledore been in contact with him this whole time? Again, it's my classic coping mechanism of I want Harry to still have ways of connecting with Dumbledore and Sirius. And I'm hoping Dumbledore left something behind, his portrait, a diary, just a literal muggle note to Harry that he can just read and like connect with Dumbledore again. I feel like there's a lot Dumbledore didn't say, and it got cut off. So I'm like, oh man, it'd be nice if I would like to think that Dumbledore set up a backup plan, a will of sorts for Harry. Hey, if the worst should happen, I put a little spell on this. If I die, this owl sends a note to Harry.
So yeah, actually flesh that out. What do you think would be included in Albus Dumbledore's will?
Well, I mean, I guess like
Fox the Phoenix.
Whoa,
dang.
That's his like pet. That's like Westview.
No, that's a great thought.
I know.
I kind of have always thought it was Dumbledore's, but a lot of other things I can't tell who owns it. The Sword of Gryffindor. Is that a Hogwarts heirloom that stays there? Or did Dumbledore collect it at some point and he owns it? The Sorting Hat is safe to assume is a Hogwarts
headmaster's office thing.
Right, and yeah, exactly. How many of those like cool things in the office are his?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But what else would Dumbledore own?
Or like,
what would his will? Maybe his will isn't so much about physical objects, but just passing along knowledge.
So maybe maybe that's actually a good point. And what would he pass down to Harry? And like, what would he pass something down to like other people? Would he pass something down to like Hermione
all
and
the
Ron?
pensive stuff, pensive memories.
Could he give a pensive to Harry? It could be his. It could be a Hogwarts thing too. Or wait, is Harry gonna get the ring now? No, the ring might have gotten stolen.
But
We don't know where that is.
There's
There's a rocket.
that ring.
I don't know, but it feels like you just don't want to let it float around out there. But what else would Dumbledore own? Does he have... Wait, where's his wand right now? Could Harry use his wand? Did anyone take it? Because he got disarmed because he used his spell to protect Harry.
Yeah.
And then Expelliarmus hit him and he lost his wand.
I still don't get why
So that's
he
just on the
froze
ground in his
Harry.
office?
That makes no sense. I don't get it.
He didn't want Harry to do anything dumb, and it was more important to keep Harry alive.
He knows Harry's... Yeah, that's a great question.
But he also sent him to Snape. He was sending Harry to Snape.
But
so I wonder if when he saw the Death Eaters, he's like, whoops, maybe this is going to be a mistake. Freeze.
Right, like it was too late. He was like, shoot, I didn't think they were here. And that brings up the whole question of why didn't they know?
If maybe the Death Eaters being present in the school meant that Snape was not on his side anymore.
But Dumbledore didn't know they were present until it was too late. He just saw Malfoy and then quickly thought something's off. Harry, safe. And then it was too late. He had one move to make. He chose to save Harry with that one move. And then Malfoy is the one who told him about the Death Eaters.
But he was able to do multiple spells.
But remember how weak he was,
Voldemort.
though.
Yes.
Oh, that's true.
He was barely. I'm thinking barely surviving. He needed to put his weight on Harry just to get back to the school.
Yeah, he was, and Harry was. We're kind of out of Harry's perspective a little bit.
But then someone was able to do this by themselves.
Wait, who is someone?
R.A.B.
He must be real good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this guy must be even
but
better.
Also, if it is Regulus was a Death Eater, so he knows some of his tricks. In fact, Regulus could have been the one who put the Horcrux there to begin with. And maybe he never even put the real Horcrux there. He put the fake there from the start.
I think you have to put your own thing there.
Yeah, maybe.
It's
Maybe
your
it's the
soul.
Voldemort thing.
Yeah.
It's part of your soul.
Right?
Right?
Do you trust anyone with your soul?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe if you marry them.
That was a cute little moment.
But I think...
It was so cheesy.
It's cute. I like it.
How did he do it by himself? Getting through all this stuff? But he had the inside scoop. He must have known a little more than the average person. And he...
Do you think it's actually possible to do that yourself? Like, Dumbledore is the most skilled... Or as far as we know, I would probably say Dumbledore is the most skilled wizard in human existence or in wizard existence at this moment. Even like in history.
I was going to say even history, maybe.
Like he just seems superior than everyone else that we've seen. Maybe R.A.B. is better than Dumbledore. We just don't know. But Dumbledore, the greatest wizard of all time, needed Harry's help. I don't know if Dumbledore would have actually lived if Harry wasn't there.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I feel like
so
no.
how does someone do that on their own?
You know what? We don't know R.A.B. was by himself.
Yeah.
He could have had a teammate to help him with that. And if it was Regulus, I was going to say it could be serious.
Yeah.
Like, could he have been like, hey, bro, we got to go do this thing. Don't tell Harry. Don't tell Dumbledore. This has to be low key. And when it's done, you can tell Harry at whatever point. And maybe I'm still hoping that this mirror comes back as some kind of connection. Well, because it has to come back. But I'm just thinking there could have been something along those lines. It has to, right? And so it wouldn't surprise me if he had help. But if he didn't have help, how could it have been done?
So that's the one weird thing about the boat, too. When they're taking the boat, I actually love that part when Harry goes, will it fit both of us? And Dumbledore says something like, it's really not. It's supposed to fit one like adult-sized wizard. And he says, Harry, your powers won't even register compared to mine.
Because it's
Harry's
more of like a magical thing.
And
he's like,
he's like, don't worry, this is Voldemort's biggest flaw.
Oh, underestimating. Yeah. But then if it's really measuring magical heft, then is R.A.B. he's not more powerful than Dumbledore and Harry combined.
For sure.
He didn't sink the boat.
Yeah.
So like, does that mean 2 mediocre wizards could go out there on the boat without sinking it and then do something? Like, I don't know. And isn't there always a magical workaround for
I think
something?
it was, yeah, but I think it was more so to of age wizards. Harry's not of age yet.
Oh, you're
So
right. He
becomes of
did
age,
say
I
that.
think it's 17. Or
So maybe
something.
R.A.B. had some connection to another person. Could he have gone to a Hogwarts student? Is there any time he could have recruited a student
That's
without
like-
us realizing? I don't
Technically,
think
probably
so.
illegal.
Yeah, that
in
would
some
sound
way,
like bad. But
I don't
maybe
think
R.A.B.
Dumbledore's
has
kinda
a
doing
son.
it, but
Huh.
But didn't Voldemort
R.A.B.
have to
can't be
go
that
out by himself? onto
Yeah,
this
but he
boat?
set the trap. I feel like that's different.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
And all these people are the people he killed, and he just collects them and puts them in a lake.
Maybe.
how do you think?
It's pretty intense.
Do you think Voldemort had to take part in this?
In what is this?
In when he's setting this whole thing up, and we'll talk about this later as we go into. When he's setting this whole thing up, do you think he ever went back to check on it? And how would Voldemort go about getting rid of the potion? Would he be able to do it magically? It seems like it has to be like Dumbledore doesn't know how to do this magically. It has to be drunk.
I know, that's so crazy.
So is Voldemort? How is Voldemort actually getting?
If he had to go back
If
and
he
get
had to go
his
back
own
and check on
Horcrux,
it, or
check
even in
on
the
it.
beginning, maybe he had to drink something and like to test it.
And well, the weird part is too, if R.A.B. got to
don't
it,
even
how did the potion
understand
get
it.
back there?
Yeah.
And did R.A.B. drink some minor potion that was like a cakewalk and then
Yeah.
put a really advanced one in there?
a
Maybe
great-
this was
great question.
actually a Voldemort booby trap that he left, but Dumbledore got it instead. But what did his note say to Dumbledore? We can get to it in 2 chapters, but
yeah, I'll read that when we go.
because it just, I'm trying to think how aware R.A.B. was about Dumbledore, because now I'm thinking, didn't the note mention Dumbledore or like
No,
something, or was it to Voldemort?
it was just a Voldemort.
Whoa, what did it say? Do you remember?
It was something along the lines like, "I've outwitted you in a way."
Yeah.
And like,
Interesting.
I'm coming for you. That's what
Okay, so it
felt
really
like.
was to Voldemort, which means
Yeah.
maybe that potion was specifically for Voldemort, and
Yeah,
it might have
to
been
the
more
Dark
advanced.
Lord, I know I will be dead long
to him.
before you read this.
I will be dead.
But that
Long-
is weird. I forgot about that part. But I
Why is
want
he
you
gonna be
to
dead?
know that it was I who discovered your secret. I stolen the real Horcrux and intend to destroy it as soon as I can. I face death in the hope that when you meet your match, you will be mortal once again. Once more. R.A.B.
Great line.
Interesting. Now
You
that
met
is
your
intriguing.
match, but that could be Harry, right?
Yeah.
And maybe he's the one who helped Dumbledore like learn about the Horcruxes to begin with. Maybe he's already dead. If he knows
but
he's going to die
maybe-
before Voldemort finds this. But how?
But maybe he thinks it'll be a long time before he even... Maybe this is
Maybe.
even before Harry was in exist. Like
This
people
could have been
knew about
literally
Harry.
30 years ago.
Maybe.
That's interesting.
And it does
way of
make
knowing.
it seem like I know I'll be dead long before you read this. Like
He's
a
almost
traitor.
Interesting, yeah. Like he gets caught as a traitor, gets killed, and then realizes it was sabotage all along. Could R.A.B. have become a Death Eater from the beginning just to sabotage him?
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, maybe we'll get that story.
That's intriguing. I don't know.
This whole thing though is
Huh.
is chillingly sick.
Oh, you know what I was thinking? Oh, sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
was thinking like Wormtail's job was to collect the bodies and drag them to this lake.
Right?
Drag him to the lake.
That's such a sick part of it too. Like
Picturing
how
him
many
as a
bodies
rat.
are in this
I know,
lake?
it's so disgusting.
and is
I
one of
know.
those bodies R.A.B.? He
Yeah.
never made it out.
Yeah, it's a
Ugh.
great question. It's a great
Ew.
question.
Yep. Oh, maybe that's why he wrote the note.
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, gross.
Oh,
Maybe he knew he couldn't
Yeah,
survive
but
it.
it seems like if you have some awareness, light, you can get away from these.
Right, like if Dumbledore was at his
What the heck are they
full...
called?
The Inferi.
yeah.
And if
Fury.
Dumbledore had done it before he started drinking, maybe that would have been different. But I'm
I-
trying to think how else you could do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Could you do a spell on yourself that would force you to drink it? Could you Imperious an Inferi? Inferious
And have them
to
drink
make
it.
him and make you
Drink
drink
it?
it or him drink it.
That'd be awesome.
Imperial
And
Furious.
disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know.
What other magical remedies? What other magical ways could you get around this? I don't know if there are any.
But
I
I'm
feel
trying
like
to.
if Dumbledore just
No, there
Yeah,
must
like
be.
if
he literally drank it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So disgusting.
And then this makes you question what was going on in the Gaunt Shack. Was it something similar? Did he have to overcome obstacles, and what obstacles
Right.
are they going to have to overcome later?
but that's
get the
why I'm
rest of the
like, these are
Horcruxes?
intense.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was gonna be like this.
yeah,
Yeah, this makes a lot more sense why Voldemort would leave them spread.
yeah.
Because he has booby traps everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now this leaves the tiny hope that Dumbledore did the same. But where and why and
No, but
how
he
and
So
what
you
would it
think-
be?
he didn't kill anyone.
You think Dumbledore would come back? But again, Danny doesn't think that. He thinks splitting the soul could happen in more than one way.
Oh
Other to
yeah,
kill
Right.
someone.
You love
And we
someone,
kn- well,
or
and-
you broke your
Yeah.
heart.
What we know
How
is that
many
Dumbledore
souls
had
we-
his heart broken
Yeah.
because he was talking about all the sadness, referencing some sadness at least. Whether it was in the past or future, we don't
he
know.
also was in the Order of the Phoenix before Harry's time too, so they probably lost people then, which was obvious because they talked about it.
Right.
So
He could have been extra heartbroken. And then maybe he used
Your
the
theory is
Horcrux
interesting.
that
17
Voldemort
souls.
had because the ring, or was it
because
the locket
love
that was
outweighs
on there?
evil. There you go.
Right. So if you do a heartbroken Horcrux, it's even more powerful
Yeah,
than
and
a
you
murder
have
Horcrux.
way more.
What about
Yeah.
even this line though? Because they're talking about the blood that they have to give to this like rock, and
Yeah, that was so weird.
yeah, he goes, "You are very kind, Harry," said Dumbledore, now passing the tip of his wand over the deep cut he had made in his own arm, so that he healed instantly, just as Snape had healed Malfoy's wounds. "But your blood is worth far more than mine." That seems to have done the trick, doesn't it? Do you think Voldemort would have sacrificed his own blood to enter this? Like, how does Voldemort get through all this stuff? Is he just like bringing Bellatrix along, and then like uses her blood?
He's disgusting and evil. He probably just tortures himself.
Yeah.
And fixes himself.
That's actually a really interesting point.
It doesn't phase him.
Yeah, seriously.
He just wants what he wants, and he'll do whatever.
And he's got so many Death Eaters that would happily cut off their
He
own
has no
arms
like
for him.
emotion though. It's like those like serial killers.
Mhm.
Does he have blood?
I was actually kind of
now
wondering
it's
that. I'm
inside of
like,
him.
I don't know.
Well,
It's
how
Harry's
chilling
blood.
was it that
But I
Harry
also-
used Sectum Sempra on the Inferi, and they're just like still walking toward him because they
Yep.
have no blood? It just shows like blank gashes in their skin,
It doesn't have any
and then he
impact.
just keep going. It's crazy. That's actually that.
I
was the scary part.
actually thought though, like Harry's blood would have created some kind of call.
Yeah, that's a fascinating
That's
one.
what I was like. I was like, he's really gonna use his blood,
Because Danny's talking about blood
Call
all the
to
time here
what?
too. Like,
like Voldemort. Like, oh, he's
okay.
here, or like something like an alarm
Right.
set off. Like
Yeah.
we know where he is, and he's not protected or something.
Or would it be the opposite, that it's like a part of Voldemort because of Harry's blood in Voldemort, that it would
It
react differently to him?
unlocks.
Yeah, because it's like his own blood. 'Cause
That'd be cool.
I'm thinking if you're designing this whole thing, wouldn't there be a way for Voldemort to get in without any of this drama? But I don't know what it is, but like I feel like there's always got to be like the easy way and the hard way. And Voldemort's got to be able to take the easy way, everyone else the hard way. Like maybe if Voldemort drinks that potion, it's no big deal because he likes his sad memories. So for him, it's not torture. It's like his saddest moment was killing his father, maybe, but it doesn't
I don't know if that
hurt
was a sad
him.
moment.
That was probably.
But it was like an emotional moment.
I was
But like
thinking-
Dumbledore, his heightened emotion was sadness, but maybe Voldemort is a different reaction.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking the evil of Voldemort, maybe the potion affected him differently, but I don't know how. How could he have gotten through this better than Voldemort? I mean, than Dumbledore.
Voldemort.
Yeah,
'Cause-
like because it's his
Yeah.
thing, his
Yeah,
setup.
but that wouldn't be tortures for him. That would be enjoyment. He's like a Dementor.
This is. I don't know how much I want to suggest this because this is pretty disgusting. But the first time he was in this cave, he brought down children and he terrorized them. How terrifying would it be if every single time he went down after, he brought other children and he just turned them into an inferi
Right.
after that, and all these bodies down there are really like inferi children. That's like terrifying because this is like slightly mentioned in the line when they're trying to go across in the boat. "I do not think you will count, Harry. You are underage and unqualified. Voldemort would never have expected a 16-year-old to reach this place. I think it unlikely that your powers will register compared to mine." These words did nothing to raise Harry's morale. Perhaps Dumbledore knew it, for he added, Voldemort's mistake, Harry, Voldemort's mistake. Age is foolish and forgetful when it underestimates youth. Now, you first this time, and be careful not to touch the water.
Huh.
Like, if Voldemort has a serious thing of underestimating youth,
Right.
and underestimating people that he deems as lesser than. So, yeah, I mean, he's sick in the mind, so...
I'm wondering if
but
Voldemort
it's a
could have
curse.
accidentally made a Horcrux when he was younger without realizing. Like, we know that Voldemort killed somebody's rabbit, right? Their pet. And
Yeah.
he went into this cave with 2 people and tortured them. Did he use some of those people's blood to hide a Horcrux that he created after killing the rabbit? Because he collected their trinkets. Wasn't it harmonica and like something else? So he was already collecting trinkets back then. Maybe when he was asking about Horcruxes, it was all to fill in the details that he already assumed because he had kind of experienced it himself somehow. Or maybe he just went back
But
did all this later.
Voldemort can't be the only serial killer wizard.
Yeah, there's probably
Yeah, well,
others, we just
Grindelwald
don't
was
know
one,
them.
and Dumbledore snuffed them out. And who else?
Right now, Dumbledore, if the 2 most powerful dark wizards that we get are Grindelwald and
Who's
Voldemort.
Grindelwald, the werewolf?
No, we don't know anything about him. It's just what was on his card in the Frogs
Yeah.
from book 1.
That
You
was how
latched
many
onto
books?
that.
In
Most
1945,
famous
because it's
duel in the
Hitler.
world.
Grindelwald is Hitler, you know?
No.
Because everyone.
That's
knows
why
that.
we're going to Grindelwald on our honeymoon, so we can look for signs of him.
Yes. That's really the real reason, Jen. Come on. How did you not know this?
Our whole marriage and honeymoon is
It's
based
all
on
to
Harry
get over to
Potter.
Grindelwald, so we can. Yep. So
Look
we can
what
hunt.
we've made. Look what we've
Yep.
made.
Jed's look was just
Like,
like,
what
am I
is
gonna
this? But we don't know anything about Grindelwald. I just like filling in all the gaps I can. And he does sound like a pretty bad guy. So there are other serial
This is like
killers.
totally off topic.
Yeah, what you
In
got?
a way, it's about Snape
Interesting.
because while we were all talking about killing people, whatever. Remember that Dumbledore said that Snape owes Harry
Yeah.
because his dad saved him.
Yes.
And like there is some kind of like not curse or spell or something with Harry. So now I'm thinking maybe that's why he also can't do anything to Harry.
Yeah, interesting, because at the very end, he doesn't want to touch Harry at all because
Interesting.
he says
might
it's
not
because
be able to.
Voldemort.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe there's like almost like an unbreakable vow between them that he can't really touch him at all.
Because a life is owed, which is interesting because that would make number 2 after Peter Pettigrew.
Mm.
What do you mean number 2?
Wormtail owes
yeah.
him too.
Oh yeah, so he has
Owes
2
Harry.
people.
He's got 2 people, and
Well, this is
Wormtail might
kinda
not even
good.
realize
all
it
his
though.
close circle people.
Yeah, so it's like accidental.
But that's
building
also
up.
true because Voldemort doesn't help anyone, and Harry is helping people. So that could be interesting how it backfires on Voldemort because he
Voldemort's
will
got life
actually
debt.
have no one
Yeah, huh?
because he's a loner, and Harry always wants to help
Alone
people.
and
so he will-
friendless, and Harry
Yeah.
has friends, and accidental friends who owe him.
I
even
still
if
don't
they're his
understand
enemies.
how anyone is under Voldemort's like
You
reign.
keep asking that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
It doesn't.
It's
it doesn't
power.
Make
Power
sense,
attracts people. Why
but-
were people attracted to Hitler?
Oh, but
Mm,
he was good propaganda.
Yeah. Voldemort's a good propagandist.
yeah.
I mean, this isn't a weird one. Think about what he promises to people. I'm confused. Why does Fenrir Greyback follow him?
Huh.
'Cause he doesn't-
Voldemort doesn't promise anything to anybody except purebloods. That's his whole thing is pure blood mania. And all of a sudden there's this half breed, this like werewolf that's
But do they die or they live forever because they're half werewolf, half wizard? Are they
I think
immortal?
vampires live forever. I don't know if werewolves live forever.
Oh, maybe.
You guys have
I'm
seen
confused.
Twilight.
Yeah,
Come on, you guys
yeah,
should know
right.
this.
Yeah, it's a
They at least live a
vampire,
long
right?
time.
But this even
But
talks
still
about
go to high
Voldemort's
school.
fears, though. I like this line in this where he goes, "There's nothing to be feared from a body, Harry, any more than there is to be feared from the darkness." Lord Voldemort, who of course secretly fears both, disagrees. But once again, he revealed his own lack of wisdom. It is the unknown we fear when we look upon death and darkness, nothing more. And then this is actually like a chilling line.
It's a good
Lord
line.
Voldemort would not want anyone would not want to kill the person who reached this island. Harry couldn't believe it. Was this more of Dumbledore's insane determination to see the good in everyone? Sir, said Harry, trying to keep his voice reasonable. Sir, this is Voldemort. I'm sorry, Harry. I should have said. He would not want to immediately kill the person who reached this island. Dumbledore corrected himself. He'd want to keep them alive long enough to find out how they managed to penetrate so far through his defenses, and most importantly of all, why they were so intent upon emptying the basin. Do not forget that Lord Voldemort believes that he alone knows about his Horcruxes.
He believes that he alone.
Yeah.
Again, we don't know how Dumbledore knows that. Is Dumbledore just assuming?
Mm-hmm.
But clearly he's wrong. R.A.B. knows. But according to Dumbledore, Voldemort doesn't know that R.A.B. knows about the Horcruxes, or Voldemort, or Dumbledore, and maybe not even Slughorn. If Dumbledore is to be believed here, Voldemort thinks he is literally the only one who knows. How could that be true? So he set all this up by himself.
It can be true because he thinks he's better than everyone.
That's true. Maybe he thought he was doing some mind control stuff to like wipe memories maybe. Or also though, how would this have trapped someone? So Dumbledore is saying if somebody was here, Voldemort would want to not kill them right away, but like interrogate them a little bit. So how would this have trapped someone to interrogate them? Maybe the Inferi were never trying to kill to begin with. They would have just trapped somebody or like done something or kept their brain afterwards or like.
It seems like
if
someone is doing this individually, like if Dumbledore does this individually, he's going to be on that island until...
You're right. He'd be on the island and he maybe wouldn't have touched the water.
Yeah.
And would have just been...
Dead.
Not dead, but like in a stupor or like trapped in his own darkest thoughts.
I feel like this would have killed you slowly, though.
Maybe, yeah, right. Because if you're not eating, like
this potion, he needed Snape to help.
Yeah, how would that work? Like, how would somebody remain alive there?
Why would you have to drink it? How does it know the difference between a mouth and being dumped out? So weird.
I mean, that's a great question. There was this invisible barrier that was there too. I kind of think that.
But once you put a cup in it, then you can drink it. Why can't you just dump it?
Yeah.
But we know that.
There's like
magical
a heat register.
magical objects can perceive intention.
Yeah.
So like the mirror sees your deepest desire. So a magical object knows your desire, what your intention is. So it knows that when Harry was scooping, his intention was to consume that beverage.
Yeah, and you can fake it.
But you can't, because then it would be your deepest desire, your intention. Now, maybe if you had someone else who let you scoop it and then knocked it out of your hands or something.
Whatever.
Or maybe if you did some mind game like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like we've seen that magic is deeper than just physical action. It's intention, it's deep thoughts, it's emotion, it's desire.
But I would have thought Dumbledore would have been able to do this without drinking it. To be honest.
I know. I'm trying to think of a way it could work. I just can't come up with anything.
I know.
Even with Voldemort doing it or R.A.B., I'm trying to come up with other options. Yeah. And there's probably some magical loophole that we just don't even know is possible. But I don't know what it is.
They couldn't have apparated.
I know,
with
like even apparating to the island, like there was something probably blocking that. And then once you're out there, like what else was being blocked?
Yeah. They had the barrier to the potion. They could only put it in with a goblet. So, I mean, after that, there's just everyone even on chat is saying it's just magic.
Yeah. Like it just kind of like
ancient or new?
Both.
A little mix of both.
Ancient for you.
Do you think that Harry should have drunk
Evil
this?
or good? No, because Dumbledore said he's more important.
No, his blood is more important, so he didn't open the door.
Oh my gosh!
But once he was
Isn't
out
that
there,
a person though?
But also we don't know what he would have gone through. Maybe he wouldn't have even been able to take it. If Dumbledore got this week, maybe Harry would have just died at the first drop. He wouldn't have been able to handle it. Maybe Dumbledore barely survived, and he's the best wizard in the world. Harry's power doesn't even register compared to Dumbledore's. So I don't know. Again, I've got to just trust Dumbledore that it was the move. I don't know. No thanks.
Do you think maybe this is a really weird question, so I'm sorry I'm going to ask this. Do you think that you could have done what Harry did?
What, feeding?
I'm good.
It would have been really hard. I'm trying to think of a person to compare it to, because forcing people to do things they don't want to do is easier if you think you're better than somebody. But I'm trying to think of like situations where
Let
I would
me
have
do
to
that with me.
trust somebody. But it's like you're going to work out with someone and someone's not feeling it. You're like, no, come on, we got to go do this. Let's do this.
This is like,
and there are
have you-
days you need them too. You're a team.
for sure.
But this is Dumbledore and Harry. This is
Yeah.
like the greatest wizard and some random kid.
Yeah.
A rookie.
Yeah. So like Harry having to take that role. Oh, that's intense. I don't know.
But it's good because it was like teaching him. He grew in that instant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'm even thinking of our own futures. Like at some point, children have to take care of their parents. They're watching the person that was
Yeah,
their
for real.
everything slowly
Stop, I don't wanna think
transform
about
into the
it.
person that needs them.
Well, it took a lot of trust for Harry
Yeah.
because
Oh my gosh.
he knew he had to do it because Dumbledore like made him promise.
Yeah.
So
I would for sure do the same thing as Harry. I would desperately want to do the thing myself. But Harry does great because he's like trying to force it down his throat fast. I'm like, let's get this over with.
Yes.
As
Yep.
fast as possible. I need you to
He's
drink
trying
this.
to give him reassurances.
Yeah.
It's going to be over. I'm
Yep.
sorry I
I
have to
know,
do
that
this.
was
Just I know it's so hard,
heartbreaking.
but I was proud of Harry for doing it because
I know.
Yeah.
it is hard to do things that hurt people.
Talk about
but he was
trauma.
trusting him and just saying we're going to do this.
I know.
How is he normal?
Who?
Harry.
I wouldn't call him normal.
He is
this is
very
He is. No,
normal.
he really is in
compared
This
to
is
comparison.
something that
everything else.
Dumbledore actually is like baffled
you're
as.
right, you're
'Cause
right.
He mentions this
He
all
does.
the time. He says, Harry, it is remarkable that you have the capacity to love. Given
You don't even know
everything
how
that you've
special
been
you
through."
are.
Yeah, you
Mm.
do not know how special you are.
I
lo- and
love
that's-
ancient magic.
I know. This is one thing we mentioned in the very beginning, like one of the first episodes of the podcast. One thing we love about Harry so much is his resiliency, that he can go through what the Dursleys did to him and still be resilient and still be hopeful and still be like a good person. And not only have we seen the Dursleys, we've seen everything that's happened in his life, and he's still resilient to that. He's like a hobbit, resilient to
Or
the curses of
cockroach.
evil. For the ring.
We should start taking bets on that.
I know,
Ancient
for
magic
real.
and when do we bring
We
up
need
Lord of the
we
Rings?
need a bingo card for all this kind of stuff. Ancient magic, blood.
Oh yeah. Take
The
a sip
Hobbit.
of your
Yeah,
drink
it's a
whenever you
drinking
hear
game
this
for all
word.
of the listeners.
But I think Harry is just like, he is unique and remarkable, and Dumbledore is like almost studying him. He doesn't understand this almost.
Well, he's not gonna anymore.
He's not going to study him anymore.
Our Horcrux is green. I'm just saying, there was a lot of green happening in this whole thing. The chain was green. There was green light coming
Why,
from
have
the
you seen anything else
island.
that's green in this book before?
I thought it was gonna
Yes,
be like some
for
totally
sure.
different question. It was just a color.
Yeah,
kid,
not that
like,
profound.
it reminds me of a
Well, here's the
movie.
thing: coppery green chain. All right, it's copper, whatever, like Statue of Liberty. But it was a green glow from the island. Harry's eyes are green, and his only memory from the day that his parents died
I
is
thought green was all evil stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
of course, Slytherins are green, but they're not all evil.
I didn't
but,
say that.
No, I'm just saying for myself. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying,
Well, I
like,
was thinking of the
when I'm
curse,
thinking
isn't
of
the
green
curse,
things,
like-
Yeah,
there are a
that's
lot
why
of
it's
green
green
things. But
flash.
what if
Adava
Voldemort had a
Kedavra.
Horcrux with Harry, and he was trying to do the Death Horcrux combo on Harry, and that's why he remembers green. So I'm just trying to think if this is more confirmation that
But
there was a
no,
Horcrux at Harry's
I feel
death.
like when
Harry's
these
parents' death.
battles with the kids, remember in the last book, everything was green. That was flashing.
Because of Avada Kedavra being green.
I thought so.
And are the other unforgivable
Or
curses
red.
green?
Red and green. It's Christmas colors.
Christmas curses.
I don't know. John's the
Voldemort really liked
encyclopedia.
Christmas, so
No, he
Huh.
didn't.
He hated it. That's why all the
it's the
smells.
Grinch.
He's the Grinch.
Oh, there's green.
The OG Grinch. Wow, nice.
What did Dumbledore see? Because Danny made a note of this when we were listening. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. He sobbed. Please make it stop. I know I did
Oh,
wrong.
yeah,
Oh,
we had
please
a
make
little
it stop.
theories
And I'll
on that.
never again. Dumbledore began to cower as though invisible torturers surrounded him. His flailing hand almost knocked the refilled goblet from Harry's, trembling as he moaned. Don't hurt them. Don't
What
hurt
if
them.
he
Please,
did
please. It's
spill
my
it?
fault. Hurt me instead. Drink this, Professor. Drink this. Dumbledore drank. No sooner had he finished than he yelled, "Kill me!" This one will, gasped Harry. Just drink this. It'll be all over soon.
This one will kill you.
Oh my gosh. What is Dumbledore seeing?
At the time, I thought it was like a live. At the same time at
a
Hogwarts,
live feed?
Dang.
like the Death Eaters with the kids going after them, killing them, and he was saying it's all my fault. Kill me instead. Which I guess it could still be.
It still could be, yeah. You don't know. That's actually fascinating.
I don't want to. Make it stop. I wonder what is his fault. And could this be a reference to like Harry's parents? Or is it back to my original theory of his own like wife, kids, his own parents?
What about when he
family?
went to get him from the orphanage?
Who?
Dumbledore.
Tom Riddle?
Yeah. It's all my fault. I brought him to his school.
Huh.
That's fascinating. He's
Make
got to
it
relive that
stop.
moment. He's like yelling at his
I
like,
know
the
I
ghost
did
version of
wrong.
himself. It's all my fault.
I'll
Stop.
never again. Again. Something that could be repeated? Huh. It is a weird one. And I'm wondering if it is directly Voldemort related or if it's in his own mind. Like if someone else drank the same potion, would they see the same thing Dumbledore did? But it was a moment that wouldn't mean as much to other people, but it does to Dumbledore? Or does it bring everyone to their worst memory? Or I don't know.
Yeah, you just don't know. And it's actually
Yeah.
terrifying too, because Harry, when he like collapses, Harry renovates him. Like he like brings him back to life pretty much. And that's when he yells, or he tries to get water. The goblet filled and emptied once more, and now Dumbledore's breathing was fading. His brain whirled in panic. Harry knew instinctively the only way to get water, because Voldemort had planned it so. Oh, this guy's so sick. It's insane.
Yep.
I wonder why Dumbledore says "kill me" at the end.
Yeah.
That feels like a weird thing to say.
Do you think it's
in this memory?
Well, do you think it's maybe coming out of the memory, and he's like,
And he's
so
saying
much
in the
pain.
moment, the
Yeah, in the
pain?
moment, he's like, just kill me. This is
Maybe, but there's that part of me, like the other half. I'm split on it. That this was all part of the memory, and whether that was pleading, saying "kill me" instead of whoever you're planning on killing or whatever, or it's saying "kill me" because of torture or something else. I don't know. But either way, it is a very extreme reaction, and we've never seen Dumbledore like this.
Yep.
So it's like so jarring.
So
I'm
back to
actually surprised that Voldemort isn't smart enough to come up with what's the killing curse? I always say it wrong.
Kedavra.
That's more torturous, like a slow death, so he can watch you die. Because I feel like that would be like his perfect,
I'll be right up Voldemort's
Thing.
alley.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's almost like
like
weirdly
a slowed down version.
right, because it almost feels like insulting that he doesn't even care.
It's like a quick flick.
Yep,
and
he
then
literally
dead.
does not care. It does not bother him. He doesn't even want to
But that's
torture
what I
you because it
find-
wouldn't do anything for him. He just wants you to disappear. That's how I almost interpret it, where everyone is so minuscule to him. Life or death means
I
nothing.
guess. But then why does he want to live forever?
We still don't fully get it, but now we're starting to get the idea that he just wants to be legendary. He wants to be remembered as the greatest, or
But if
Be
he
immortal
lives
forever.
There's such
forever,
irony in that because
If
it's
you-
like somebody like what is his motive? His
Yeah.
motive is to knock everyone down, but
Yep.
then once everyone's gone, then what?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But it's like his mind isn't even going to that place.
Mhm.
it's so
Sorry, that's like
strange.
that was just a fascinating.
No, I
thought.
just don't
Mhm.
like this whole time. Like I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I don't get it because that means I don't.
Yeah,
want to be that way.
Yeah.
Right,
You're not
right.
insane.
Who does get it? Then,
That's a good thing.
Yep. And pulling Dumbledore's uninjured arm around his shoulder, Harry guided the headmaster back around to the lake, bearing most of his weight. The protection was, after all, well designed, said Dumbledore faintly. One alone could not have done it. You did very well, Harry. It's going to be all right, sir, said Harry over and over again, more worried by Dumbledore's silence than he had been by his weakened voice. We're nearly there. I can apparate us both back. Don't worry. I'm not worried, Harry, said Dumbledore, his voice a little stronger, despite the freezing water. I am with you.
Mhm.
How good was this chapter, though?
At least they had those or he has those memories now too.
Yeah, I know, for sure. It's like the last moments that you had with the person. And I'm sure, now that all this has transpired, what questions are going in Harry's mind for stuff that he wish he asked Dumbledore but he just didn't have time to. Because you don't know it. Harry is going to the situation not thinking Dumbledore's going to die at all.
Right.
He's like, he's not thinking even of the questions that he's going to ask him. But like now that he's dead, what are the questions that are going to come up in Harry's mind for what he should have asked Dumbledore?
But Dumbledore probably had a diary for him. In case I die,
Maybe.
read this.
We really hope he does, right?
Yes. I
What would
will
his
not
diary be
continue
called?
reading if he doesn't.
What is his diary called?
What's Dumbledore's biography going to be called? Let's say
Lemon
Rita
Drops.
Skeeter writes a biography on him. What, Lemon Drops? That would be so good.
Yeah, like something
that would be
snacks.
excellent, actually, Jen. Write a biography on him called Lemon Drops.
Yeah, his little bits of wisdom or drops.
Yep, little sweeties. What?
A hot tamale.
Yeah. Huh.
What were you gonna say? What were we even talking about?
Sorry.
Biography of Dumbledore.
Yeah.
What would you call it? Lemon
Dumbledore's-
Drops? The Life of Albus Dumbledore?
I was thinking it could even just be titled his zany words from book 1.
Yeah.
Again, because that's on my mind. I
What
forget
about
what he
his
even said.
really long name? How long?
Blubber,
Albus,
Oddament.
Percival, Wulfric, Brian, Dumbledore.
You
And
would
what
know his
if?
full name.
He made it up. There's no way that's real.
I think it's pretty close.
He said it confidently.
What? I think it is right. But
Google it.
that's why I was thinking, what if?
Did he say the name right?
What'd you say?
Oh, Albus.
Paying attention.
Oh, sorry.
I was laughing.
Albus,
I had no idea what we were
Percival,
even talking
Wulfric,
about.
Brian,
No.
Dumbledore.
Oh, no, you said
What'd he
you're talking
say?
about his name not even being real. That's why I'm laughing.
Oh.
And I was thinking, what if R.A.B. is actually
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore's uncle? Because Albus
McGonagall
is his middle
Harry's
name,
grandmother.
and B is Brian. So R.A.B. is someone Albus Brian, and then
And this was just his.
then
previous
Dumbledore was
self.
named after his
This
uncle.
is Time Turner time.
Whoa, or it's him,
And
or
now he comes
wait,
back. in
maybe
the
this
future.
R.A.B. is someone Aberforth Brian. And so both the brothers were named after their
They're
uncle.
twins.
No.
What are their long lost twins?
I love how Danny is so serious right now. And
And Jen is just like,
nonsense.
totally not. But yeah, his
So
diary could just be his long name. That would work.
All right, let's go to the next chapter. Chapter 27. We'll still talk about some of the stuff in the
yes.
cave before, because there's still that'll come up
Don't
over
even
and over and
ask
over
him.
again. Give me a quick summary of the lightning struck tower.
Sorry, just looking at my notes.
You're not allowed to go back.
I didn't. No, I'm not allowed to go to other books. I didn't really write a summary, but this is basically they get back to Hogwarts and they're in the tower, and
You just
this
said you're not allowed to
is
go to other books.
yeah, because that's what that was my rule. I totally want to. I'd go back and start rereading all
Yeah.
these other books to
Yeah,
find
but
things.
that's what John wants you to do.
And that's why I'm
on
like,
your guys'
yeah.
honeymoon, Danny would read the entire
Yeah,
series.
yeah.
From 1
It's
to 6.
it's perfect, but can't do it. Can't go back because I might find hidden gems. But this chapter is basically they get back to Hogwarts and they're in the tower in Dumbledore's office and they find Malfoy, and this is where all the drama goes down. And I believe this chapter ends when Dumbledore is killed.
Yeah.
And then we're kind of left wondering, that can't be real. No way.
You guys
And
have
then
denial,
the
yeah.
whole next chapter is the chase of Snape and the Death Eaters leaving Hogwarts. So
That's
this, I
the
think, is
next
kind of setting that
chapter.
scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I just don't remember where it
Thank you,
exactly
Jen.
ends, but you're right. Good
We're
call.
not there.
He wants to talk about both. That's why
I
he
know.
said this.
Well, of
summary for
course.
both.
Well, that's kind of what we've been doing this whole episode, but
Yeah,
You know, I think I
yeah,
started
the last one was
chapter.
good. The last one, there's not a ton of questions, but maybe we'll go over that real quick. We'll see.
Real quick.
This happens. One of the
that
first
should
lines.
also be.
Clearly, Danny wants
That's part of the
to.
drinking game. This will be real quick. I promise you guys.
4 hours later.
What has happened? Asked Dumbledore. Rosmerta, what's wrong? The dark mark, Albus, and she pointed into the sky in the direction of Hogwarts. Dread flooded Harry at the sound of the words. He turned and looked. There it was, hanging in the sky above the school, the blazing green skull with a serpent tongue. The mark Death Eaters left behind whenever they had entered a building, whenever they had murdered. Ugh. I remember reading this for the first time, being chilled at that part, but I also remember being so frustrated because Dumbledore is not fighting at his fullest potential, and he's like absolutely exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
So when is the tiredest or most exhausted that you guys have ever been in your life?
Oh, there's multiple.
We're like, right now.
Well, none of us have kids, so I guess we can't compare to that. Because that seems...
Does seem exhausting.
Close. I do work with them.
Oh, that's true.
I'm halfway there. Most exhausted.
I
Trying
felt
to think
like
of a
this
time where I'm like
week.
delirious.
This week.
I felt like
Right.
it was like the other day. I'm a terrible person I work for, and
Ugh.
barely alive in the morning. When you're like dragging your feet, you barely keep your eyes open.
Yep.
Oh,
And the
it's
coffee
terrible.
just doesn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, when is this day going to be over?
Mm.
Had to have been the last time I pulled an all-nighter.
Oh, those
Probably
are
in college.
miserable.
Yeah.
I think what gets me is the physical tiredness plus the mental, like, you know, when you're reaching the end,
Yeah.
you're like, I'm gonna snap. Like
Yeah.
when a number of things go wrong and then like one more thing goes wrong, you're like, ah! And I feel like those, I always drive old cars, and so I've had a few of those moments where it's late at night, the car breaks down, I'm on the side of the road, I'm going to walk to a gas station, then you find the gas station, but they won't fill up your little coffee can with gas, so you got to go get another thing. And then like there are like multiple layers to it. And then you finally get back with your certified DOT gas can. And then there's that moment of like, and now the gas station's closed. And then like those are the moments where I think you're the most tired, where you have no energy left. You're like, I'm just going to collapse right here and sleep.
That's when I
because I
bust into
can't
tears.
do anything. Well, yeah, I think those are the moments where I feel like
Everyone has a
the
different
most
reaction.
tired of like,
That's why I said
I'm
me.
just going to collapse. I have no energy left.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
I think that's like a combination of 4 different stories, but
Oh.
those types of things have
Nice.
happened a few times. But that's why when those things happen now in adulthood, they feel so minor. We're
Yeah.
like, it's all gonna be fine, whatever.
Guess you graduated to adulthood.
But I think there's still like those types of things still happen, and now it's kind of fun pushing the limits a little.
I think I do it every night, too.
What?
I don't like to go to bed.
Oh yes, you wait till you're so tired you just kind of fall
So
asleep.
you exhaust yourself. Yeah.
Nice.
That's not good. Come on.
Yeah. Come on.
It's what I do.
Mm.
But I could fall asleep anywhere, too. So
I
it
remember
doesn't
one day
make
after,
sense.
yeah, I remember one day after moving someone, I like came home and was so hungry. I hadn't eaten anything all day, and like I remember food was so good there, and I was so exhausted. I literally like crawled into bed at like 7 o'clock at night and just like collapsed. And like immediately when I was in bed, I fell asleep, and I woke up the next morning at like
best.
9. It was great.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. You know what? It was the retreat, the summer retreat with
Yeah.
the high schoolers. The Sunday back.
Oh,
I
you feel
was
like you're
dead.
yeah. It's like a hangover.
I
oh yeah, like where your
laid
body just
down
like is like,
and
oh,
was
I can
like,
finally just die.
I don't need to be on anymore.
Mm.
And I think hours.
You ever get it where you get sick after like doing some of those busy things? It's like your body's just holding it together
much,
because
yeah.
it needs to. And then as
Oh,
soon as
yeah.
your body's like, oh,
Yeah.
good, I'm safe now.
Yeah.
It's just like, and we're sick.
Yep.
And like,
Yeah.
you're going to stay in bed for 2 days now.
Yep.
That's happened to me a couple times.
Yikes.
There was a moment when that has somewhat happened to me, but I still don't know what happened. It was one of the weirdest sicknesses that I've ever had because it was like a 24-hour thing where I was coaching soccer, and I remember I felt it immediately. Something like hit me, and I was like, I can't stand up anymore. So I like sat by the post and was like coaching on the post, and then I remember I had to drive home, so I like drove home, but I remember like I was delirious. I was like almost hallucinating when I was driving home.
Whoa.
Scary.
To the point where I finally got there, I parked, and then I walked, and it was like a 20-yard walk to the front door. Walked to the front door. My apartment was on the 3rd floor, and I remember I was in the elevator, and I like collapsed in the elevator, and I was on all fours, and no one was there. It was like a little bit later, so I remember I walked on all fours to my apartment
gosh.
door,
Oh my
opened my apartment
goodness.
door, walked into my apartment, and I was like sweating at that point. So like I turned on the shower, I crawled into the bath
were
and the
able
shower
to
and
do
just
that?
sat there. And then as soon as it was done, I was like, okay after that. And I crawled back onto a couch and I just fell asleep on a couch. In the morning, I woke up like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what it was. It was some
sounds like
weird
a
thing.
flu, but
I know.
yeah.
It was
My
It
goodness.
was one of the most bizarre sicknesses I've ever had. But I don't know what happened with that one. But I always hated in this chapter that Dumbledore is not operating at his best. Because I'm
Ugh.
like, if he was, I feel like he
Yes.
could have petrified Harry and disarmed
He could have
Draco
done so
easily.
many things.
I know.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
this is a line. Harry hurried over to the door leading to the spiral staircase, but his hand had only just closed upon the iron ring of the door when he heard running footsteps on the other side. He looked around at Dumbledore, who gestured him to retreat. Harry backed away, drawing his wand as he did so. The door burst open and somebody erupted through it, shouting, "Expelliarmus!" Harry's body became instantly rigid and immobile, and he felt himself fall back against the tower wall, propped like an unsteady statue, unable to move or speak. He couldn't understand how it happened. Expelliarmus was not a freezing charm. Then, by the light of the mark, he saw Dumbledore's wand flying in an arc over the edge of the ramparts and understood. Dumbledore had wordlessly immobilized Harry, and the second he had taken to perform the spell had cost him the chance of defending himself. So why did Dumbledore do this to Harry?
But you have to have your wand in your hand
Hmm?
to do any spells. You have to have your wand.
Not any.
Because here it seems like a...
Well, Wagadoo stuff is a little vague to us. and
Yeah.
It's not fully canon
Oh
yet.
my-
Yeah.
It's not been referenced in our books yet. So we don't know the extent of it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you asked the
I'm
question.
doomed.
But what could he do?
Well, because, who was teaching them to do... It was Snape, right? To do spells with their mind.
But that was with
you
their
have
wand.
to hold the wand.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking. I'm just
Yeah, but
asking.
what did he call them? Not wordless spells or silent spells.
Mind spells.
Unspoken. What was it?
Probably. I think
Yeah.
John's reading.
Nonverbal.
something.
Non-verbal.
Oh,
there it
me
is.
Yeah, sorry.
Non-verbal
Guys,
spells.
whenever I go back to chat and have to try to reread the chat, I have to try to listen to you guys.
Yeah, because there's all the good stuff in there.
Because I cannot multitask, so I'm sorry, guys.
I'm just pushing your
Maybe
button.
you're
But there's
a female.
nonverbal magic that you do with a wand, but that's still
Yeah,
with
but
a
not
wand.
without
But then
a
there's
wand.
magic that you can do without a wand. That's like what, not like pre-students do. Like what Harry was able to do with growing back his hair. You can still do
Right.
magic, and I'm sure there's almost like when Jedi can draw their wand, their
Wow, we're
lightsabers
going
to
to
themselves.
Star Wars
There's
now.
probably something with that. Like Dumbledore probably could have done it if he was full strength. I'm sure, but I don't think he was full strength, so that's why he wasn't able
Yep.
to do any of this stuff.
And I feel like even just he would have been much more aware. He would have gotten into this office and immediately known something was off. The same way he sensed where magic was in the cave, I think he would have known the energy of the school was off, the dynamic, the evil, the darkness. Like, he would have known more. Of course, there was the dark mark already, but I think he would have gotten into the school and been just more ready to take control again. He would have perceived a lot more.
Yeah, that's why
I don't know.
he needs to go to Wagadoo and learn all this magic.
Right.
But why did he actually stun Harry? That was Jen's question earlier.
Okay.
We don't know the details of it, but I think it was more than just freezing Harry. This wasn't Petrificus Totalis. This was also protection.
What are you looking like that at? He's memorized every spell, memorized every
Yeah,
person.
he's going to use it on me, and then I'm stuck.
Use
I
it
just
on
keep my camera out and snap
these moments of
so I
Jen
can
just
keep
rolling
it.
her
Yeah,
eyes
if
like,
anybody
ugh.
just listens to it, they gotta watch these live.
Well, because
streams.
I'm inventing my own spell for what I think Dumbledore did. It was Protegius Totalis. So it was Petrificus and Protego at the same time. Because I like to think that Harry was not only frozen, but shielded. And Harry doesn't know what it was. All he knows is he couldn't move. So I think Dumbledore did a very complicated series of spells on Harry to protect him. I don't think it was one little thing.
I like that,
I
actually.
think he used all of his energy to protect
Quite handy
Harry.
for me.
So it wasn't just him being like, oh, I got one spell in me. Let me just be like, Petrificus. I think it was more like Dumbledore was so powerful, even in his weakness, He could have done a lot of different things, but he said, no, I'm going to layer as many spells as I can muster on Harry before my wand leaves my
Now,
hand.
why did he layer
Layer
those on Harry?
spells.
Well, yeah, you can layer spells, but I don't know exactly how, but Dumbledore can. I think he just knows how important Harry is. Nobody can defeat Voldemort except Harry.
Yeah.
So I think it was just as simple as that. Like,
Dumbledore couldn't?
according to the prophecy, I don't think so.
But Draco's coming through the door. Obviously, like, Harry can take on Draco. Why couldn't Dumbledore just disarm him there and then
solve
Yeah.
everything? Did he know it was Draco? Because I got the impression
Maybe.
the door was opening and the dark mark is there, and I don't know what it
that's
takes to
kinda
cast
true.
the dark mark.
Yeah, and he doesn't
But
know there could be other people behind
exactly.
him too,
I was
for sure.
picturing this as Dumbledore potentially thinking Voldemort is coming through this
Yeah.
door, or like something more extreme. So I viewed this as Dumbledore's just saying, I don't know what's about to happen, but no matter what, Harry's going to be safe. And then just did as much as he could to protect Harry in that moment. And then maybe he
I
felt
got
silly as
so
soon as he saw
annoyed.
Draco. But
Because it felt like Dumbledore was having Draco, like, maybe lean on the good side, like, convincing him, we can get you out of this.
know.
We have
Absolutely.
a plan. And I was
He-
like, yes.
He had him.
And then I
Yep.
was like, and Snape's going to help him get out of it. He's going to come and they're going to think he's going to kill
I
Dumbledore, but
know.
he's actually
Yeah.
going to zap all the Death Eaters.
Oh.
I was so annoyed.
Because he was probably close. If Dumbledore had another 5 minutes with Draco, I
Yep.
think he could have convinced him.
agreed.
Because he goes, Draco Malfoy did nothing but stare at Albus Dumbledore, who incredibly smiled. Draco, you are not a killer. How do you know? Said Malfoy at once. And he goes, but why? I don't think you will kill me, Draco. Killing is not nearly as easy as an innocent believe. So tell me, while we wait for your friends, how did you smuggle them in here? It seems to have taken a very long time to work it out. How'd you do it? So first of all, what do you think of...
Should have a bell.
I'm going to lose it. So Snape killed Albus Dumbledore.
Yeah.
So why doesn't he make a Horcrux?
Because he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to split his soul.
You still have to split your soul, which must be a crazy thing.
Yeah, there's
There's another whole ritual that goes after.
yeah.
That was not conveyed.
I know it's not, and
But
it's not,
you lose a piece of yourself, though.
Yeah,
But we don't know what that means. I have no idea, but there's got to be a downside.
But if he's under Lord Voldemort, why wouldn't he want to do that?
I don't know. I
Because
really
Maybe a
don't.
personal
He-
pull on that.
to be honest, it's not at the forefront of people's mind. We don't really know how little known Horcruxes are. People don't know a lot about them, and no one really is known to have done them. No one knows Voldemort's secret. No one knows that he split his soul into these 7 parts. Snape probably doesn't know that he split his soul into
But
these
he's
7
really
parts.
good at occlumency.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
I don't think
still.
he's going to be able to do occlumency. Actually, he kind of was able to do occlumency
know.
against Dumbledore.
I don't know.
Did Dumbledore
Yeah.
tell Snape? We don't know. We don't know if he would, but even if Dumbledore did, what we do know is Dumbledore did not want Hogwarts to have any information about Horcruxes.
Yeah.
Well, they missed one book that a 6th year found, but even then, we know that Dumbledore wanted it locked down. So Dumbledore wouldn't tell
Well, no,
anyone.
Dumbledore locked it down when he was headmaster, not when he
When
was
he
just
was
teaching.
headmaster.
Yeah, so that was after.
Yeah, so when... Wait, who's it? Oh, yeah, Slughorn was telling Harry that Dumbledore didn't want anyone finding out about it. So would he have said anything to Snape, or did he not say anything to a soul except Harry? Because he knows Harry needs to have this information to eventually try and defeat Voldemort. And then according to that,
Yeah, but if
it would just
Slughorn
be-
knew, then I'm sure other people did. He can't keep
I
things to
guess.
himself.
Yeah,
but he kept this one.
for sure. So some of them probably
Oh,
know about it, but it's like Slughorn didn't know
Like,
how
who
you
would
actually do
that?
it.
Yeah, and we don't even know
Yeah.
how Voldemort figured out how to do it. We just know that Slughorn gave him the first piece.
Yeah.
Not even the first. Voldemort knew to ask, what is a Horcrux? So Slughorn gave him the next piece of information.
Yeah, and if
who
there's-
even told him
If
about
there's
it?
nothing in books, and Hermione, the only thing that she can find is of the wickedest of magical inventions, we won't even utter a word. I don't think a ton of people know how to do a Horcrux.
I
It's
guess
like
he.
making an atomic bomb for like
Well,
Well,
muggles.
yeah, because he's willing to experiment on himself. So I guess no one else wants to do that.
Yeah.
So this isn't like actually in the books, but maybe this will help a little bit. There is a spell attached to making a Horcrux. So I just don't think Snape probably would know that. And even if I don't think he would. It's such an interesting question whether he would like actually try to read Voldemort's mind. because maybe this is the idea. Is he now trying to compete with Voldemort? Is he trying to ascend to greater power than Voldemort? Is he going to start reading Voldemort's mind? And
that's what it seems to me that like these type of people that follow him, that is what they would want too. Like, oh, am I actually smarter than you?
Yeah.
And like I want to overtake you.
Right. Like
Because
no
that's
honor
the
among
same-
thieves. They're all kind of competing.
Yeah, like that's all the same personality.
Right. They all just want power, and they would betray each other if they had the opportunity. Maybe.
I just can't get over Snape because I was like, he had it like
I know.
I don't know, he was making a good name for himself.
I know.
He was getting a good reputation, and he was gonna
Kind of,
be
yeah.
his own person, and then they all want to be under his shadow. Like
I know.
I just
Well, that's why it was so
Ugh.
weird, because he was playing the defense, but doing a weird job, because the good people, most of them still, I shouldn't say most, the good people that we know, the youngins, didn't like him.
Yeah.
We don't know that many people really liked him. The Weasleys never
He's a
spoke
loner,
highly
yeah.
of him. He's a loner. And then the Death Eaters don't trust him either. You know, like Bellatrix is also like questioning him. And who else? Another Death Eater was kind of like talking bad about him and stuff. So it feels like he wasn't on either side.
But
He
this is
wasn't
why he's
making friends.
maybe one of the most dangerous people in the book, because he's quiet and he doesn't really like. Before this, he wouldn't have cracked most of our like top 10 lists for wizards, really.
Yep.
And now that he's in, he's probably top 3. Like you see how fast he rose, because people on the good side and on the bad side didn't know how skilled of a wizard he was. So he's just quiet and he's like a completely isolated person. And all of a sudden he reveals his cards and he's like, this dude's second in command to Voldemort right now. This guy has it. And maybe he's actually going to compete with Voldemort. Like that's kind of the thoughts that are going through my head after this read.
yeah. That's what
What do you guys think of Draco disarming Dumbledore?
Good luck. It was like
I
a
know.
beginner's luck.
I know, for real, yeah.
Hmm.
It really feels like that. And I just love...
Also, he was like not even really himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Dumbledore is like 5% of himself.
Yeah.
And he just gets lucky. Even
So
5% Dumbledore
lame.
probably could have been him. But it just stinks. And then I just love...
Draco
Go ahead.
was smart to piece some of these things
Yeah.
together, though. I was actually surprised.
Yeah, what do you think
Yeah.
of Draco in this whole thing?
Like he listened in on the guy getting stuck in the closet and how he kind of heard something.
Mm-hmm.
So piecing that all together was really interesting. But he didn't trust Snape. He didn't tell Snape anything.
Yeah.
Oh, because he didn't want Snape to take the credit for
Yeah.
Which Snape did, and that
Yep.
maybe that's going to cause some division amongst Death
But
Eaters.
also,
what's going to happen to
Draco was supposed to kill him. So what happens that he didn't?
Well, did Voldemort? And now I'm curious about all of that, because did Voldemort expect Draco to die, and was all of this just a silly little thing to get
Back
at Lucius?
I think so.
And then, because there's no way he thought Draco would succeed. Maybe it would stir up some drama in Hogwarts. Or maybe he also talked to Snape, and all of the like other stuff with the unbreakable vow was part of the plan. Like, I'm going to give this mission to Draco. He's going to stir up some trouble. And when the moment's right, you help him. But even that feels sloppy. And Draco is the one who figured out how to use the vanishing cabinet to get people in. But that seems sloppy from Dumbledore's perspective. Leaving this
Yeah,
thing
for
as a
sure.
gigantic hole to get into
But Dumbledore's not
Hogwarts.
necessarily thinking about that. That Draco
guess,
actually
but-
shows some brilliance in those moments. Like
Yeah.
someone even in chat. So in Chamber of Secrets, Borgin and Burks mentions the wardrobe, and Harry's hiding in that.
That was the one he was hiding in,
that's the
right.
one he's hiding in. And then in Chamber in Chamber of Secrets, when Peeves broke it on Nick to save Harry from Filch. That's an interesting one.
Nick meaning nearly headless
Nearly
Nick.
headless Nick, yeah.
I don't remember that.
But
one.
nearly
I don't remember
headless
that one.
Nick is a ghost, not a poltergeist. So it fell on
Yeah,
him?
yeah,
How'd
yeah.
that go?
Or on
Interesting.
Nick's like nearly headless, like he commanded Peeves to mess with this thing so that Harry
and
can get away from someone.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Peeves was the one who pushed it. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And then
okay.
Fred and George shoved Montague through it. That's the
which was
one we
too bold,
mentioned
and it
before.
left him in the hospital.
And that's
and
the one that
what
Draco's
ultimately led to
mentioning.
this. Wow, their little bullying led to this.
So yeah, seriously,
It's Fred and George's whole fault.
it's all their fault.
But that's why
do you
it
think
seems
about
weird
them
that this
now?
vanishing cabinet was there. And that's why magical objects are so risky, because it is a weakness. A vulnerability in Hogwarts was created because someone has some old furniture sitting around, you know, and that was never explored. Dumbledore didn't realize the magic that it connected Nocturne Alley to Hogwarts directly. Like, that just feels weird. And that's why we were led to believe it was so trustworthy. It's the safest place. No one can apparate.
Wasn't that
But now you got all the secret
in
stuff.
that room though?
The room of requirement?
Yeah, wasn't it in
it
there?
seems like it was there at this point.
But like, do you remember all the stuff they listed? And you're like, ooh, how many Horcruxes are in there?
No, it's true, but it
So,
wasn't
like,
in
how
the
is
room of
Dumbledore
requirement.
supposed to know?
Wait, where was this before though? It wasn't in the room of requirement. It was like not in Filch's office. It was just around. Like when the Weasleys shoved Montague in there, that was. It sounds like it was just in a hallway, right?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, it
You're
seems
right.
like it, yeah.
Because people were just like, oh yeah, things vanish, and it was broken, and that's why things were ending up. Where were things ending? Oh, they were just ending up in a void between these two places.
Yeah.
I still don't fully get that, because I was just thinking Borgin and Burks is just getting a free like trail of things. They're just sitting there and things just like pop into their store and they're like, hey, cool, another object to sell.
That's a great business opportunity. Just put a vanishing cabinet somewhere and you can just go back and forth.
And people think it's just disappearing, but really it's just ending up in your store.
And you're selling it.
Yeah, it sounds great. But just so weird. It just feels weird that was the thing that ends up letting the Death Eaters in, and that there were no other protections. One simple cabinet just lets people in.
And again, Draco does show a lot of brilliance here, but he's like almost too arrogant. It's almost annoying because he says stuff like, I tried, Draco. Professor Snape has been keeping watch over you on my orders. He hasn't been doing it on your orders. He promised my mother. Of course, that is what he would tell you, Draco, but he's a double agent, you stupid old man. He isn't working for you. You just think he is. We must agree to differ on that, Draco. It just so happens I trust Professor Snape. Well, you're losing your grip then, sneered Malfoy. And you hate Malfoy saying that, but you hate that Dumbledore just said that, and then all of a sudden, Snape kills him. It really hurts to hear those words. And then this is another point. Draco says, someone's dead, said Malfoy, and his voice seemed to go up an octave as he said it. One of your people, I don't know who. It was dark. I stepped over the body. I was supposed to be waiting up here when you got back. Only your Phoenix got in the way.
Nice.
Your
I
Phoenix
missed
lot.
that too.
Your Phoenix lot, not Phoenix. Sorry.
Your what?
Oh,
Your
the
Phoenix
Phoenix
lot.
Phoenix
Order-
lot.
Order of
Oh,
the
okay,
Phoenix.
nice.
Oh.
How does he know the name?
That's a interesting question. I guess they were just the active people fighting
Snape.
against. Yeah. Yeah.
Because Snape is in the Order, and he told.
I guess it's like knowing Death Eaters, you know, the Order of the Phoenix is the
that's
people
like
against
a
them.
known thing. Oof. Wow, that's the negative.
Has someone actually died? And who?
A body.
Tonks.
Oh,
No. It's not.
That just
Too much unresolved. It can't be.
I don't think so.
I'm going through like who we've gotten confirmation of living.
I feel like
But I don't
Draco
know if we
also
have.
just likes to show off, but he actually, I don't think, wants to hurt anyone.
Yeah.
Really?
Like, kill someone. He wants to bully them and, like, emotionally hurt people.
And putting a poison into something and leaving it is way different than like actually killing someone with your wand.
Yeah.
So I feel like he wasn't ready for this. But who could he have stepped over? Someone's dead. He said dead, not just like I stepped over a body. Again, someone could be stunned or someone could be like unconscious or anything.
And Harry jumps over a body in the next chapter. You don't know if it's living or dead. That's the only thing. Because there's just like he steps over Neville and he's like he thinks Neville is dead for half a second.
Right,
and
right.
Neville's like, I'm all right.
And we know
not
Ginny's
dead yet.
good. Have we seen Ron and Hermione? We can assume that Ron, Hermione, and Ginny potentially have taken liquid luck. It's very unlucky to die. So I'm hoping it wouldn't be any of them. That would be way too anticlimactic.
It's very unlucky to die.
Yeah.
Is it?
But have we heard from McGonagall?
Oh. Lord,
And
no.
did the gargoyle fight people?
The gargoyle is Dumbledore's office.
Yeah, but that'd be
I
cool
don't
if it like
know.
Yeah,
started
sprung into
fighting.
action.
You
That
know?
would be pretty cool.
That's a fun question actually. What in Hogwarts actually fights? Do the paintings can they jump out real quick and fight? Or like the suits of armor. Can the suits of armor fight? Or
I don't know if the paintings could,
I'm actually surprised they didn't.
but they might be
I
able
feel
to
like
do
the paintings would
something.
try to.
They could
Yeah.
at least make a lot of noise and be very distracting and
Yeah.
pass like information along.
you know, Sir
Um,
Cadogan is like
Oh yeah.
in this action. Yeah, what was the movie? The Pink Panther, when like there's someone fighting and the Pink Panther is in the background, like fake, like acting like he's fighting everyone, and he like doesn't. He's not doing anything, but he's like, and then he turns around, all the people are like knocked out. That's what Sir Cadogan is doing. He's like
Yes.
faking like he's fighting all these people, and all
Like
these people are
cheering,
dropping
like,
dead,
taking
and he's
credit
just
for
like,
it,
yeah,
yep.
he's taking credit for it. So someone might have died. We're not sure. We don't really get confirmation or non-confirmation in this chapter. But
Yep.
then we have these two just this longer, but this is exceptional line. Come over to the right side, Draco, and we can hide you more completely than you can possibly imagine. What is more, I can send members of the Order to your mother tonight to hide her likewise. Your father is safe at the moment in Azkaban. When the time comes, we can protect him too. Come over to the right side, Draco. You are not a killer. Malfoy stared at Dumbledore. But I got this far, didn't I? He said slowly. They thought I'd die in the attempt, but I'm here. And you're in my power. I'm the one with the wand. You are at my mercy. No, Draco, said Dumbledore quietly. It is my mercy, and not yours, that matters now. What did Dumbledore mean by that? And is Malfoy redeemable still? Or no? Because you guys said in the last one that Malfoy is maybe slightly redeemable, but is he too far? Is he too far gone?
I don't think he is still not too far gone.
Mm.
Because I think he was questioning it, and then Snape just swooped him away.
Mm.
But
Dumbledore's mercy. Yeah, I'm just really curious how it could have played out if Snape didn't come in. Like, did Dumbledore have a secret plan here, or the upper hand, or did he do something even more when he knew Draco was being bad, that he like replaced his wand or put some spell on it, or like said, all right, if Draco casts Avada Kedavra, then the wand is going to backfire on him? Did he put something in place already that he knew he had the power against Draco? And maybe it's something that'll still come into play against Harry later. Then we're going to find out what it is. But why is it Dumbledore's mercy now?
Yeah, why does he say that?
I feel like if Dumbledore is to be believed, and I do believe what Dumbledore says, it's
You somewhat believe
sometimes,
what
most
Dumbledore says.
80%. Then I feel like he had some power over Draco, but I don't know what it is. He was holding back killing Draco or doing something negative. Huh. But I wonder what.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just saying already he chose to protect Harry instead of killing Draco because he maybe knew it was Draco and knew that when Draco comes in he could instantly have killed him, but then said, no, instead I'm going to protect Harry and try my best to save Draco. And it was by choice.
Yeah.
And that's mercy. I don't know.
This is the last line that we get in this chapter. We've got a problem, Snape, said the lumpy amicus, whose eyes and wand were fixed alike upon Dumbledore. The boy doesn't seem to be able, but somebody else had spoken Snape's name, quite softly. Severus. The sound frightened Harry beyond anything he had experienced all evening. For the first time, Dumbledore was pleading. Snape said nothing, but walked forward and pushed Malfoy roughly out of the way. The three Death Eaters fell back without a word. Even the werewolf seemed coward. Snape gazed for a moment at Dumbledore, and there was revulsion and hatred etched into the harsh lines of his face. Severus, please. Snape raised his wand and pointed it directly at Dumbledore. Avada Kedavra. How evil is Snape? Let's just hate on Snape for a moment. How terrible is this? Dumbledore is pleading with him. And he just murders him. Do you guys have anything else in this chapter before we go on? We're going to do the last one quick. I promise. Super quick.
Jen.
I might not be
You might not.
Ugh.
Do you guys want to say the last
Snape is
chapter
so
for
annoying.
or chapter 28 for the next one? We'll do 28, 29, and 30 last next podcast.
Whatever you want to do. I just hit a wall.
That's okay. then we'll save this fight for the Flight of the
Yeah.
Prince for the next one. There's lots of questions in that one.
That was a good one.
You said there wasn't
Yeah.
that many.
Well, there's
Lied.
Well, there are a lot, but we would do it quick, though.
I always have lots, but there's more like that carries over into different things, I think.
Ugh.
I hate him.
Yeah. He's the worst.
And he's a prince. Or it seems like
Well,
he's the...
yeah, that was even... Well, that's the next chapter, I guess. But yeah, it's just...
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem to really make sense. We don't get his motivation.
Spells on me.
Use my own spells against me. Yeah.
I know.
And the fact that all the other, like, Death Eaters respected him so much that they, like, cowered. It just kind of, like, confirms he must have earned it. The evilness, all that. It just feels... Jen's just leaning over to read my notes and laughing about something.
It took me forever to read your arrowed.
Oh, because the picture on the next chapter is like fire, and I think it's Snape, but I'm not sure. I said, who has a goatee? Does Snape have a goatee? I don't picture him with a goatee.
That's so random.
And there's like fire behind him.
Such a long
It
time
looks
to
like
read it with
Jafar.
his hand.
Yeah, he does look like Jafar.
Because he is Jafar now. Yeah, so Flight of the Prince. I still wrote next to it, who question mark.
Who is the
And I was like,
prince?
wait, what? The prince? Who's the prince? And then I was like putting it together, but I'm like, wait a second, how though?
Why is he a prince and he's half-blood?
Yeah, half-blood prince, and why call himself the prince? We still don't know. Oh man, I was thinking about that, this weekend when I was just thinking about stuff. Obviously, I was thinking about like we still don't know a lot about the families. We don't know where Snape came from, siblings, parents, anything. Prince, what does that even mean? Could he be an actual prince? Or is he one of the 28 families? And Harry, we know his parents. What are his grandparents? He has 4 grandparents. We have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
Dumbledore, we don't know his parents. All these people that I'm just like, there is a lot going on. We have no idea. So I'm just curious if we're going to see any more of some of these people. We want to know more about where they came from. So, yeah, Dumbledore, Harry, and Snape being now top of that list.
I also like the idea that Harry was given these names, like the chosen one. But Voldemort gave himself the name, Lord Voldemort, and then all of a sudden you get this person who's called the Half-Blood Prince. It's the only other time someone's has a name, a nickname.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
at the end you find out this is Snape, and you're like, this dude is giving himself a name just like Voldemort does. Like, what the heck is wrong with this guy? Come on.
But that's why they're together.
I know, for real.
Match made in heaven.
But
I know.
that's also what makes me wonder if it means something with Voldemort. And did Voldemort give him this name? Is this something that was established all the way back in high school? Has he been evil for
They
that
were in
long?
the same grade. I thought.
No. Voldemort's way older than him.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying he could be Voldemort's kid. We don't know anything. But like it could be the point where Voldemort literally found him at some random summer when he was at school, when he was pouting about the kid James in school who bullies him, and then he turned evil from then on. We don't know. We don't know how it works or how Death Eaters get recruited, but it's one of those weird things that I'm like, the prince, like how? Is that prince to Voldemort? Is it something like with an evil reign, or is it more of a muggle thing, or like his
Lord and
parents or
prince.
whatever? Yeah, Dark Lord, and he's the prince. Like it just kind of feels like it could line up.
That's creepy.
But he doesn't go by it anymore. Well, unless
Well,
we're
he's a
about to hear a
double
Death Eater
agent.
call him that. Yeah, so, But I don't know.
But
If
he
he's a
had-
prince,
but
it's in his blood.
Yeah, but as a kid, he had
half-blood.
that name.
Nice. It's in his half-blood. But yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. But that's like, if you are a prince and it's in your blood, then it's like, it's saying whatever Dumbledore might have been the one trying to make him good again. But it's like, nah, it's too late. He's already the half-blood prince. He's already the heir to the Dark Throne. So I don't know, but it just feels bad. Oof.
Sorry, I am a little distracted there. Any other points in these 2 chapters before we end and we go on to the favorites?
Nah. I just started reading the first page of the next chapter, but we'll save that for next time.
Because we'll do chapter 28, and then we've already read chapter 28, but you'll read chapter 29 and 30, and then we'll have a long podcast discussion on those.
My goodness, that's
Nice.
The end.
And because we're
The
not
end.
doing the movie for this one because of
I know.
some kind of spoilers,
So-
it'll be the
That's
last one for this book.
Yeah, I'm going to spoil one thing in the movie because it infuriates me more than anything else. And I just
Danny
was
might not
stewing
like
on
you.
this with other
No, I'm
people.
down.
Yeah.
The movies aren't canon, obviously.
yeah.
So.
There is this is probably, in my opinion, the greatest sin of the movies. And this is even what we were talking about. One of the questions: why did Dumbledore immobilize Harry at that moment? And one of the big things is that because he's protecting them. 100% he's protecting him. And the other thing is because Harry has a saving people complex. The idea that Harry is probably fighting everything in him, like he was trying to come out of this immobilized state to go and save Dumbledore. In the movies, it's portrayed as he goes under this little like deck, and Snape comes up, and he sees Snape, and Snape goes, "Shh," and then Snape walks onto the thing and then kills him. And the entire time, Harry is literally just sitting there watching this happen. He's not
Like
protected.
with his wand and
He's
everything?
With his wand, he has no invisibility cloak. He is not immobilized. He's just sitting there watching this whole thing
Snape
happen.
saw him too.
And Snape saw him too. And the whole, it's like
and Snape
the
just
worst,
does this
Snape
and tells
is
him to
the
be quiet.
worst movie
Oh
decision
my
that they
goodness.
made in the entire thing. And I
And
will
Harry's
rail
just
on that
sitting
scene.
there like
Yep.
watching.
That's why this movie has, I think this movie has great parts to it. I think this movie gets more hate sometimes than it should. But it gets rightful hate because
Ooh.
the decisions they made in this movie were atrocious
Why did
for
they
some
think
things.
changing
I
things
know.
was a good idea?
I
Makes
know.
sense why they do
It drives
that.
me crazy.
That is so weird. And it maybe would play better if you trusted Snape. Like if Harry trusted Snape this whole time and then it was like, Snape is like, oh yeah, shh, be quiet. I've got a plan. And then betrays both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
But like Harry doesn't trust Snape.
He hates
So in those
Snape.
moments, it's like, he's just going to be like, oh yeah, cool. I'm going to stay here. That's totally fine, Snape.
Yeah.
That seems so odd. I don't know how that would play, but
Yeah.
interesting. Maybe the show will do it different.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully they better.
Better.
All right, let's go over who wins the House Cup for these 2 chapters.
Dumbledore, Harry.
It's hard to give it.
Yeah.
Kind of got to give it to Dumbledore,
Yeah. Giving it
He
down. Yeah.
died,
Going back and forth between the two.
tortured himself.
Between Dumbledore and Harry.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, kind of like what we talked about before. Dumbledore for obvious reasons, but
Yeah.
also Harry like for actually pushing through and giving him the potion or whatever
Yeah.
it was.
Yep.
Because that was really, really difficult.
Yep.
One thing that I can't stand. This is the reason I'm not giving it to Harry. He does cave under pressure a little bit. In the beginning, Dumbledore explains to him that these are inferi, and he goes, "Fire, Harry. We'll use light and fire to repel them." And then Harry just completely forgets about that in the moment, and he just doesn't do it. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he's
Yep.
a kid. Excuse. He just gave
Yeah.
Dumbledore this potion. He's
Yeah.
traumatized through the whole thing. 100.
Give him a break.
Yeah, 100% giving him a break. But I am just gonna give it to to Dumbledore because he died, and Dumbledore was just a master in the cave.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved to see him work, just like been there in Harry's shoes, like watching him
Yep.
recognize what magic, the traces of magic, all that kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
And making it all look so easy too.
yeah, exactly.
Even when
I
he
know.
was swimming and Harry's like commenting about how it's like he's swimming like a younger man, just full
seriously.
of energy.
Yeah, I know.
So good.
I know. And who wins? What do you want to do? Hot tamale or who wins the? What's your favorite moment?
I have a terrible hot tamale.
Hot tamale.
Hot tamale psychopath edition. Fenrir Greyback.
What the?
Whoa!
Whoa!
I said psychopath
Bold
edition
take.
Why is he the hot tamale?
because it's psychopath edition.
Oh my!
He's a psychopath. He pissed me off enough that I was like, all right, we're doing a bad hot
That
tamale.
dude, yeah, that dude is absolutely insane. I
Yes.
love when Dumbledore is like, or he's like, he goes, "Pleased to see me, Dumbledore." And he goes, "No, I cannot say I'm particularly pleased to see you."
yeah,
I'm like, Dumbledore is just so great.
he's the best. He
Keeping
was
that
the
sass
best.
till
Yeah.
the very end.
Who's your hot tamale?
This is a tough one. There aren't that many hot tamale moments.
That's why I went psychopath edition. 'Cause
Yeah,
I was like, I
that's
don't know
very
who to
fair.
choose.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of
Taking
the
a
OG
different
hot
route.
tamale being Ginny, and she did show up a little bit, but it wasn't hot tamale
No.
stuff. But I was just happy she was
That's
out
gonna
there
be Jen's
fighting.
answer. Jen's gonna
You
say
know?
Ginny.
Oh yeah, we'll save that for Jen. Who gets hot tamale? I don't know.
You know, like Kaylee thought that you and I are like Harry and Ginny.
Whoa, nice. That's pretty funny.
It's high praise.
Yeah,
So
seriously.
you guys get the hot tamale.
I'm giving my hot tamale to Dumbledore again. I'm doing House Cup and hot
I
tamale
was
award.
gonna say, looking at the fire on here, I was like, you
What
could be a hot
about
Yeah,
tamale.
Fury?
I know.
yeah,
Literally.
you're right. He was
Even just
bringing
his
the heat to those inferior.
Yeah, and his answers to Draco and to the other people, he's someone.
sass.
I was
You're right.
listening to these chapters with some people in our Discord, and someone said Dumbledore is sassy until the day that he died.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. He really was. And
Yeah, you're right. He's spicy.
so
He
I'm
gets
giving
it.
to him. He was a hot tamale.
Hot tamale house cup. Jen, do you have an official answer?
Mm.
Is it going to be Ginny?
Yep.
All right, nice.
Just default. She always gets it.
She's
Hmm.
on the cover.
Yeah, I guess.
That's Hermione and Ron.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
that would make sense.
Yeah.
Right?
And then favorite moment in these two. Last question. Favorite moment in these two chapters.
How do you pick a favorite?
There's sad
I know.
moments.
It's
Yeah, I was
like
going
the
to say,
most-
now in
The
retrospect,
most
it's
terrible?
tough.
The most terrible. Yeah, could we flip it for this
Yeah.
series?
Oh, I did put. I loved how Dumbledore was able to trace the magic in the cave, like
Oh yeah, that was good.
just by feeling
Yeah.
it. I thought that was pretty cool.
His mastery.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite moment too. Just
Or-
like the Lord of the Rings references, the
Yeah.
the energy from Dumbledore. It just kind of felt like exploring with Harry. It just felt like a cool moment.
Well, also where Dumbledore trusts Harry to like,
Yep.
I trust you when they're leaving
Mm.
the cave.
Oh yeah.
Mm,
Even
yeah.
in the
that was a
moment, I
good
might have
moment.
missed it, but when you were like telling it again
Yeah.
with that weight to it,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah, it's so
I
good.
know, that is such a good one. Yeah, the whole cave chapter is maybe one of my favorites. The cave was the most memorable chapter for me on my first time read.
Hmm.
I think there are other chapters that are better than the cave, but the cave to me was like one chapter that I read the entirety of it, and I was like, it was one of those chapters that I had to reread paragraphs over it because I was skipping. I was like, my eyes could
Oh,
not
you were
go
jumping.
fast enough. I was like, I need to know what happens next, and I would skip like
Mhm.
full paragraphs, and I'd have
Mhm.
to go back and be like, crap, slow down, just like take a deep breath
Yeah,
and read this.
yeah.
And I was like, it took me like 5 hours to read this stupid
That's so
chapter, but it was
great.
so stinking good. I loved it so much. But you guys all say your favorite moment. We missed
You
anybody?
did.
I did, yeah. Cave times.
Cave
Oh,
times.
Yeah, you did. I forgot.
Anyway, we're all gonna go to bed. Thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the first time readers.
Wes sensed the energy
Yeah.
again.
Yep,
He
every
It's
just
the
time.
knew.
magic. He knows.
He knew.
It's crazy. He always does it.
Yeah,
As
Comes
soon as
does.
we're about
right
to
in at the
leave,
very end.
he like knows and
To
he's,
say goodbye.
I know.
He just looked at you like,
I know. He's like, all right,
Course
time
"Here
to
you're
go.
talking
Like,
about
duh,
me."
I understand you.
Yeah.
Right,
Dad.
Wes? You knew? You knew?
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. The camera battery just died, so you guys can't even see us. But
Perfect timing.
thanks for joining us on the live stream. You guys are the best. We will do the last 3 chapters soon. I'll let you know on the Reddit when we do them. So
I feel
thanks
like
for
his nose is
thanks
bigger.
for joining.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Wait, how'd
This
that read
is-
go this afternoon, John?
It was fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, there was like